This episode of the OverDogs Podcast is brought to you by our friends at Stake.
When you come down to those last couple fights, you know performance matters, and that's where your negotiation lies. You're only as good as your last fight, and that's the game of fighting. When I did it, I was like, I knew I was going to go to a free agency, but I've done so much in my career, bro. I got these belts and shit. I'm like, man, okay, what else can I do with this company?
He hits me with a text at like 1 a.m. and it's the money counter. He's at the counter cashing out. The money counter's just going.
That's my favorite sound right there. You got to have the bankroll. I think most people don't have the bankroll for that shit. It's really hard to work up from like $1,000. I've done it before, 1,000 to 100,000. It's rare. You gotta be in the right place, right time, the right shoe. Like it's really hard to do that. But if you're coming with 100K and you want to win 100K, just got money management.
I don't care what you do, just don't gamble much, man. I've seen it ruin lives.
The chances of you getting a bonus are slim to none. Get the win. Win. Think about the win first before you think about anything else. Guys that are complaining about their pay, my direct response to them is get better management that believe in you, that can help elevate your star power. It is the one thing that Mike has right now, and why he gets paid so well is because he has star power.
OverDogs, episode 9. The fighting, drinking, gambling, dumb shit show. I'm your host, Bagz. We got Mac Malley in the house. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Here with a couple legends. What's up, boys?
For sure. Mikey?
Yes, sir. I'm doing great, man. Happy to be here with OverDogs and Showtime on the show.
Then we got one of the UFC legends, one of the best lightweight fighters in the UFC. The guy that's running his own promotion now, APFC, that's blowing up all over the world, going global. How you doing, Anthony?
I'm doing great, man. Can't complain.
Still the only fighter that was ever on a Wheaties box. Let's go.
Right.
Is that true?
Still true, yeah.
That's true.
Damn.
Definitely.
It was a funny story about that, though. I'll give you some background on that. So it was like, it was right when I won the belt. I just came over. I was pretty hot, and John Jones he was way bigger than me at the time, but he was getting in trouble. So like, it was like, man, I was in the office at the time with Dana. He's like, this weed competition is coming. It's supposed to be John Jones, but I'm not. He's fucking up basically. He's like, I'm putting it behind you. And literally by me being in that office is why that weed box happened, man. He was like, just right place, right time.
What? I didn't know that.
No one knew that.
Everybody just dropped that.
Just dropped that, yeah.
Bro, that's sick. Go ahead,
Anthony,
Bagz.
I think you know this, but like, I've been in business for a long time. You're running your own business now. Like, putting yourself in the right position at the right time leads to a lot of shit.
Facts, yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, I was blessed to be in this game a long time, man. I turned pro when I was like 18, got signed with the WEC at 19, and ever since been in the big show. WEC was owned by Zuffa, so I've been with Zuffa for forever, and I learned a lot throughout the game, and just listening and seeing where the holes are and where I can fit in, and that's what happened.
So tell us this, Anthony. Like, you got your own promotion going. I've been seeing IG posts with like you and Chris Angel.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck's going on. Tell me what you guys got cooking.
Man, me and Chris are boys, bro. That's actually funny. Me and Chris met at a nightclub, Moon Nightclub at the Palms. It was before I was in the UFC, WEC. He was just a cool ass dude. Like, I had a table next to him. He had his table next to mine, and we just started chopping it up, and we became friends just from that moment. And then my WC career kicked off, my UFC career kicked off. We always kept in touch, but now this next chapter is we're gonna do some business together, and it's not official, so I can't say exactly where we're going with it, but it's definitely something that's Chris just wants to get into the martial arts world, and I already have the key to the martial arts world, so it just makes sense for us to collab and see what we can do together.
Yeah, and that's what I love seeing lately. Especially, I think we're at the precipice where it's starting, but it's going to continue to grow and grow and grow. Is UFC and just MMA in general, or combat sports in general, whether it be boxing or whatever, has gotten so big with other athletes, with other celebrities. Like, these guys now want to be involved with this shit, right? Like, they just want to feel like they're a part of it. So I feel like it's going to open up huge deals for you and Mike and all these other guys down the road that weren't previously available.
Man, it's not stopping. I mean, look at Bellator's card. Cyborg made $300,000, bro. That's huge. The numbers are going up for everybody. So I think the fighters are getting smarter, and there's more eyes on us. And the fighting's the only sport that people watch replays on. They go watch old fights, and those libraries are so valuable. That content is crazy. So Mike, when you start your show, bro, remember that content is king, man, especially right now.
Yeah, bank highlights all day.
I'm blessed to be here with the OverDogs podcast. These guys gave me an opportunity. A lot of fans on social media have been asking me to get on a podcast for so long, and he made it possible. So I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get some clips and some highlights, but also trying not to sound like a complete idiot.
Honestly, bro, the sounding like a complete idiot goes more viral than the rest of it.
Yeah, bro.
So I think you're in the right spot, man. You got the right team, and these guys know what they're doing.
Perfect fit here.
Yeah, we both got the best manager in the game.
Yeah, bro, Abe Kawa, bro. That's shout out to FRM. Most
I
definitely.
remember being at a BKFC fight before I got in the BKFC, and me and you had tables. Our families had
Oh
tables
yeah,
near
yeah,
each
yeah.
other, and you were like,
That's like right when you got with your girl, right?
maybe. Far as I'm
Oh,
concerned,
wait.
me and her have always been together forever.
Yeah, yeah.
But you were like, Mike, you'll do this shit? I was drunk. I was like, hell yeah. Ah. I was like, you want to go right
I
now?
remember that. I remember that, bro. That
No,
was
but you the man
Van
knocked out
Zandt
Wonder
fight.
Boy.
Yeah, bro, that was a big one.
I was
Yeah,
live for that one. I was rooting for your ass, and then you pulled it out. I was like, oh, with the Superman punch off the cage. That was fire.
Yeah, bro. That dude's tough to beat, man. His range control is crazy, man. That dude knows how to his karate background it sets him apart from everybody else. But I grew up in Taekwondo, so that's why I wanted that challenge. I was like, bro, I know how to play the range game, and I called him. You watched that fight, literally his low kicks. I chopped him down with low kicks, and then once his stance went from like a wide karate stance to this, now I can hit him in the chin. So I was just waiting for that to happen. Low kick, low kick, low kick. Once he got to this, now you have to lean when you defend. You can't move your feet. So I was just waiting for that stance to get closed, and if you see it, he did that right when I went off the cage. His stance got tight, and that's why he couldn't pull his head out.
Yeah, you got that speed point fighting style too, that karate style.
Yeah. From Taekwondo,
You got those gyms, the Victory Martial Arts gyms.
Yeah, Pettis Martial Arts. My best friend owns Victory Martial Arts, but we grew up in Taekwondo.
Okay.
We grew up in
it's like a
Taekwondo.
karate.
I had a program. Yeah, Taekwondo. I had a program in this gym called Victory Showtime, where it was like a hybrid of Taekwondo in mixed martial arts. So we're like introducing mixed martial arts to students that do traditional martial arts. It's such a hard line to cross too, because traditional students don't do jiu-jitsu. They don't, they're not used to like the boxing hitting to the head. So it's like a real hard, thing to cross in the gym world. But we were trying.
Taekwondo is so dope because like the kicks are so versatile, man, and you could see that in your game always. Like you throw some crazy shit, but Taekwondo, I love the kicking, man. It's different than traditional karate, all that other stuff. Taekwondo is nasty, bro.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about Taekwondo is like the point scoring aspect of it. Because you get a point score on you. If you get touched, you lose a point. So like hitting and not getting hit is what I learned in Taekwondo.
Hell yeah.
That helps longevity of a career, doesn't it?
Man,
Mike likes to get hit in the head.
I don't have too many scars. I take pride in that.
There you go. Dude,
What
I'm
about
curious
you,
about
Mike?
the...
Mike's like, punch me in the head, I'll break your hand.
I don't mind.
I know. I heard him talking to Rocco. That was hilarious.
It was funny. I tell you, I think the Rockhold Mike lead up to that fight was the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Man,
Mike,
I was unexpected. I've seen like Luke's personality, but I think Mike brought it out of him, bro. So it was fun to see.
yeah, he brought a little bit out, but Mike just ate him up in the fight.
Yeah, for sure.
When he walks out in the mink and you wipe a booger on his fucking jacket, I almost lost my shit, bro.
I don't even think Luke knew what he did. He was just like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, you don't even know what to do at that point.
Just try to have fun with it. What else?
Yeah, of
It's
course,
all
of
war
course.
out there,
People
bro.
want to
Like,
see it.
it's all tactics. Connor's the man at that shit. He's one of those dudes that makes guys get out of their game with those tactics and then easy knockouts.
And Anthony knows now, right? Like you're selling fights, right?
Yo,
like,
man, yeah. I mean,
it's marketing, bro. You got to be able to sell these fights. If not, people don't get interested in them.
well, look why UFC and WWE merged to form TKO. I mean, I don't know, but I'm assuming they're going to do some kind of, like the writers for WWE are probably going to do storylines for UFC just to make the in-betweens more entertaining. And it would be genius. Them writers are already doing it for WWE. You take a little bit of plots and put it over the UFC, that much more entertaining.
Like I don't know if you guys saw the Fury and Ganyu commercial that just dropped, like the lead up to the fight.
Yeah.
No, it was so fire, right? And people were like, man, like that's so far ahead of what like UFC is doing right now
Yeah.
that I think people are going to start copying that kind of stuff as well.
Well, the UFC don't have to do it, bro. The
They don't.
UFC's so profitable with what they're doing right now. Watch Hands the Wheel. Like, they got that shit on block.
Yeah, but look, Fury don't either, right? Like that's probably a multi-$100 million fight, right?
For sure.
And they did it anyway because they got the funds to do it, and it just hypes people up. Like it's a sales game, man. Like
I like
anything
it.
else.
I think all those fights, everything that brings eyes on this sport over here, whether it's boxing, and combat sports in general. I feel like now it's combining. Even the boxers now, I train in Vegas. These boxers are respecting us as fighters now. I spar with these boxers, and they respect the game, man. I mean, obviously, I had to train for Roy Jones Jr., so I was sparring like some tough dudes. But I think like even with Caleb Plant, I feel like he had respect for MMA. Like he respected. He actually did. Caleb Plant comes from a karate background. Had no idea. So his dad, was teaching karate, and then he transferred over to boxing. But it's cool to see boxing and MMA like coming together like this, man. And because the fans cross. Like, makes sense.
Bud Crawford was a wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Crawford. Oh yeah.
But look, so Dana White, right? He was saying something about how bad the Showtime, they were trying to show replays of the Charlo Canelo fight and how bad that production team was and stuff. But the fact that Dana's saying that, like they don't, like you said, they don't have to do those videos, but they still did that video. I fucking kind of forgot my point, but the thing is, like, this was my point, was that what's funny is you don't see boxers calling out these MMA guys.
Not in MMA, no way.
You see all the UFC top guys, they're trying to get that boxing shine, that boxing limelight. They're trying to get in the ring and box. I mean, every MMA fighter is trying to do it.
That boxing bag, basically, bro. That's what the money's at.
It's that bag. Yeah, for sure. I do have a question about this because so Mike was in town last week, and I took him up to train with Roy, right? Roy lives here. And so he trained with him.
You guys are good friends, right? You and Roy are boys?
Yeah. We're good friends. Remember, I was up on stage with him when you fought him.
Yeah, I remember you flew out with him. Yep.
Yeah. So Roy's my boy, man. Obviously, fucking legend and a great dude, right?
Oh man, so good.
What was it like, man, when you finally got that deal done and you're like, all right, like I'm a fucking promotion with Roy Jones Jr.
It was wild, bro. I was in Cabo, Mexico. It was for my birthday, actually. It was on my birthday. I was on a yacht. And Melky hits me up like, yo, we got a boxing, we got a deal coming. It's in April. And my birthday's in January. So I'm like, yeah, I'll definitely be ready. I'm like, we got a couple opponents. And he was like, one of them's Roy Jones Jr. I was like, what? Like, the Roy Jones Jr.? Like, no way. But then he was like, he wants to fight at 200 pounds. And at that time, I was like 180, like 185 now. So I'm like, damn.
And Roy was like 245. Believe
I heard, because he wanted to go like 215.
Yeah,
I was like, bro, I'm barely making, I was like 185, 190 wet. So I had to put some weight on for that one, too. But like, Fighting Roy, bro, like, I grew up watching him, man. All respect to that dude, like, what he's done for the game of boxing and what he's still doing, man. Like, he's out in Vegas. He'll still spar with these kids. Like, I go to the gyms, and he's still in there sparring with all these, young, hungry killers. So, big respect to Roy, bro.
Yeah, so here's one thing that people don't know about Roy, but the first time I ever went and trained with him, and I lived 30 minutes from him, and he's like, yo, because I trained with him for like just an exhibition fight in Dubai for fun. When I turned 40 years old, I'd never fought, at least in that kind of setting. And I was like, I want to do this, right? And Roy agreed to do it. And I had to fly to Tampa to Plant City, okay? And he was literally at a fucking drug rehab center training a ton of kids for free.
Oh, I thought you were saying he was.
That's the kind of person he is, right? Like anybody that wanted to show up got to fucking do a training session with Roy. That's the kind of shit he does.
Yeah, he's an amazing dude, for real. Hey, if you can get him to sign the gloves we boxed in, that'd be dope.
I got you.
My man, okay.
Yeah. I've actually got a couple of pair. I'll send it to you.
Well, I want the ones that I fought him in. If he could sign one of them, that'd be.
I'll talk to him.
My man.
I'll talk to him. Yeah, for sure.
Hey, so putting on, I mean, because you were the lightweight champion at 155. You fought, I don't know how many UFC fights you fight at welterweight, like a couple at 170.
I fought two at 145 too. I fought Oliveira and Max Holloway at 145.
You beat Oliveira, yeah.
I went down all the way to 145, bro. Yeah, but they promised me a title shot, so I was like, man, 10 extra pounds. Like at that point, I didn't care about anything but that gold, and I was like, you know what? I'll cut my arm off for it, So I died in that weight cut. I beat Oliveira, and then that led me to that Max Holloway fight where it was an interim fight. But I just couldn't make weight back to back that too close. I pushed some fights too close back to back. And I missed weight. That was my first time ever missing weight at 140. 145.
It's funny. People always talk about Dustin Poirier's like resume being one of the craziest, right? Of the people he's fought, yours is right up there, man.
Oh, bro,
Like,
I was the first
all-time.
one doing that. I fought everybody.
You fought him.
Showtime, man.
You've done it all, dog.
Yeah, I
He's
fought
on that
everybody.
Wheaties box for a reason, bro.
Yes, sir. Dude,
I'll
we
say-
had
I'll say
those
this,
in a
Anthony.
town of 8,000 where I lived. They had Anthony Pettis Wheaties boxes here at our little tiny local grocery store, bro.
I was in
remember.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They had him. I was like, I remember my daughter. I was walking through the aisle with my daughter, and she's like, "Why are you on the cereals box?" That was like one of the dopest moments of my life.
I'd have been like, yeah.
That's sick, bro.
That's cool, man. Hey, I wanted to ask though. So, like, the process of getting up to 200 pounds. I don't know what you weighed in for, Roy. Was it around 195?
198, but I had my chains and my clothes on, so I was probably 195.
Okay, so like, but you put some weight on and you held
Yeah.
it well. And like, did you do a lot of heavy lifting and you forced yourself to eat 4 to 6 times a day?
My calorie intake went up from because when I was cutting weight, I was doing like 22, 24, but then I went up to like 35 to 4,000 calories. And then weight training, I have a guy out here in Vegas that knows Sean from Project Wellbeing. He's he comes from a football background, but he helped me put that muscle on and make it feel like I could use it. I didn't want to get jacked and not get to use the muscle in boxing, because in boxing, you got to be smooth and loose, and so I really focused on my legs weight. I started doing a lot of legs. I think I built a lot of muscle in the legs, and that's where the weight came in.
How much you squat? Did you do heavy
We
squat?
don't really squat like that. Like all of our stuff is like functional strength training. Like, because I tore my ACL when I fought Ben Henderson, so my left knee's been messed up ever since that fight, the second fight. So my squatting, I don't really try to mess with that knee. More of it's for functional strength. I'll show you some of the workouts we do. I'll send them to you.
Hey, sounds great, bro. I'll check it out, man.
I put him through some, man. When he was here, I put him through some. I
Yeah.
took him to my guy who's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. He's a great,
Yeah.
he's a functional guy, right?
Yeah.
And Mike's just like, add weight. And I'm like, bro, you don't need to fucking squat 300 pounds. Like, you just need to be strong where it matters, because them legs is where the explosiveness comes from.
Yeah.
And it's where most guys can add weight.
Yep. Yeah, facts. I believe in. That's why we focus on legs.
It worked really well though. When I came home, my wife and my mom were like, "Damn, you look swole." I was like, "Damn, I didn't think I was gonna get swole just lifting this lighter stuff like all these reps."
Yeah, I mean, for us, man, especially for boxing, bro. Like, I look at boxing as a marathon, and MMA is like a sprint. Like when I do my MMA training, it's like quick, right to the point. And then boxing, you got to like progress, find a rhythm, build off the rhythm, and like stay in that zone, like third gear. I like to fight in third gear. I never go to fifth. In MMA, I'm in like fifth, and then back to one, fifth, back to one. So it's just a different. It's a marathon.
Yeah, how many rounds did you fight, Roy? Was it 6 or 8?
Eight.
8. That's
Yeah.
big. I mean, but because it builds up in boxing, but like in like BKFC or like a 4 to a 6 round fight, I feel like the pace is really pushed, especially in BKFC.
1,000,000%, bro. I mean, it's all about that fast explosion.
Yeah, it's a little different. I mean,
It's-
but look though, like Canelo and Charlo, the first 5 or 6 rounds, they was trying to knock each other out.
Canelo was.
Canelo was, yeah. Charlo didn't really have any offense.
Yeah, I mean,
Dude,
bro,
the
Canelo just walks
the
people
first
down.
round was one punch landed on each side.
Yeah. Well, usually Canelo's trying to break you down. Canelo finds his range. Once he finds his range and gets in the rhythm right in front of you, you know them right hands are coming. He's going to use that hook to set up that big power right, and eventually he's going to catch you.
Yeah, that wild left that he throws, that bitch be getting in there.
He
we've had this
he
conversation.
sets that up to throw this one. He's just like, gets him to the right side. Like kind of like a left high kick to go to the right. Like that's what he's throwing. It's like, wow.
So we've had this conversation on here before, Anthony. I want to get your feedback on it. What do you think about like changing the weight classes a little bit, like for UFC, for example, right? Because you know, boxing, they're super tight, right? And we saw what happened when Charlo tried to move up 14 pounds. After like the third round, he knew he stood no chance of knocking the guy out. So he became real hesitant, right? But like, so what do you think about like tightening weight classes in UFC? Because 15 pounds, dude, is a huge fucking difference.
Yeah, I think it will happen actually, man. Like, I mean, the more like a couple years ago, they did
The 65. They wanted the 65. So if they wanted to go 35, 45, 55, 65, 75, because you have to bump up welterweight to 75, then 85, 95. Maybe then from there, yeah. What all would you do with that? Because the 65 was actually something you might have found yourself in.
The right way to do it. If we're gonna introduce it, go every 10 pounds because it's from 25 to 55 is 10 pounds, and then 55 to 70 you got a 15 pounder. So that's where these guys should be fighting at 185 or cutting down to 170. So that I can't go fight at 170 because these guys are too big. So it's like
Right.
that's where that happens. So guys there's a bunch of guys at 155 that were like borderline just making Khabib. Khabib would die every time he made weight. 65 division would make sense for a lot of guys.
Yeah.
Kevin Lee was one that was always, championing that charge for a 65. Felt too small for 70, but career 155er.
Yeah, Eagle he had that 165 pound division, and I think that Kevin Lee was fighting over there at 165.
Yeah, he fought. Yeah, he fought the one time over there. Came back to the UFC and just recently. Yeah.
It's like even looking at Pereira now. Alex, like
That's huge.
You look at him at 205, and then you look at him like when he was training with Sean Strickland for the Izzy fight, and you saw them standing next to each other, and you're like, how was he cutting to 185? He towers over him. His shoulders are so broad, like it's insane.
I'll say this though: earlier in your career, it's easier to cut weight. Then as you get used to it, you start getting your diet and shit. It's way harder to cut weight. So I feel like if you are gonna go into lower weight classes, do it early in your career. Don't do it at the end of your career. Because I tried to do it at the end of my career, and it backfired on me.
So I'm 41. I think you're 36, Anthony?
36, yep.
Yeah. Mike's 32. Mike, your metabolism's about to go to dog shit, just so you know. It's like that 32 to 35 range, man. It gets a lot harder to keep that weight off.
For sure, bro.
Shit. I thought it was at 26. I thought everything changed at 26. But
Hey, the problem is too, Mike, you about to run into is you start making more money, you start eating better too. You start going to the fucking steakhouse and getting all the sides.
no, but I've been thinking about
appetizers.
Conor McGregor, his build up when he used to cut that weight to 45, dude. Like when you look at his original come up, that's what made Nate so big because that's when Nate beat him. But the first time they fought at 170, Conor just bit off more than he could chew with that first set at 170. And but that weight cut that he did, man, and he was so angry all the time, hungry. He was starving, talking shit to everybody. Looking back at it, like a lot of people had a lot of issues with Conor and stuff, but a lot of people love him. And like if you look at the old stuff that he did, it's like, wow, man, you really went for it. Like I mean, in BKFC this at the end of the year, I'm gonna be cutting that weight again. My last fight was at 185, but I'm going back down, so I'm really gonna feel it this time, and I'm excited about it. I think it's gonna get me into this mental space that's just gonna be like insane athleticism.
Just clear thoughts, bro. Honestly, when I cut weight, I feel like that's the most clear I ever think. Obviously you're hungry and you're like, thirsty for the wake up, but the way I think when I'm cutting weight, that's when I start most of my businesses, bro. When I'm doing my weight cuts, I'm like, the mind just a lot of focus in on some stuff.
Damn, I need
It's interesting.
to do something.
All right, so you may not know this, Anthony, but Mac's a fucking savant when it comes to fights, remembering everything.
yeah?
I guarantee you he's watched every one of your fucking fights. Don't say I'm lying, Mac. You might want to be humble about it, but I'm telling you, one of the most well-versed guys I've seen. Mac, what is probably your favorite Anthony Pettis fight? And then maybe what's one you'd like to see run back?
Oh, fuck, man. That's a long fucking career. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, Anthony, bro. Wonder Boy's my boy. I was happy for you, obviously. That's the fight game. You're the only one to ever do that to Wonder Boy.
Yeah.
That's my, like, for real, I know Wonder Boy, that's my fucking boy, but that was the sickest performance. I mean, dude, you came back. And, like, that's the sweetest guy in the world, bro. No one wants to do that to him. But you can see, like, in your frustration when you bounced off, like, motherfucker, I knew it. Like, I had to get your ass. Sorry, bro. That one was crazy to me, even though I was like, God damn, that was my boy. But, dude, Donald Cerrone, I remember the time, Cerrone, man, it's all over the fucking place. Eddie Alvarez. I need to look down your whole record and see. I want to compare yours and Dustin's, like who you guys have fought, because I believe you two have fought the most big names in MMA, like hands down. Because you fought.
You beat Cerrone?
Yeah.
Twice.
Mm-hmm. Body kick.
Body kick knockout.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got your arm. I remember that shit. Armbar.
I was fucking around in his guard, I guess. I don't know what the fuck.
He got some good jiu-jitsu though. That cowboy got some good jiu-jitsu, bro.
No, for sure. He's great jiu-jitsu.
Oh, bro, the Tony Ferguson fight.
I was waiting for you to say that. I was like, Tony
that
Ferguson.
one's fucking
I'd like to
nasty.
see that one run back. I'd like to see that one
run
run back.
That's the one. That's the one I want to see run back. Bro, that fucking fight was just... That's one you just... Yeah, standing ovation for that one, bro. You
Him and Paddy Pimblett's going to be fun.
What was that?
Yeah. Ooh,
Him and Paddy Pimblett's going to be a good fight. Tony Ferguson and Paddy.
Yeah,
you and Gilbert were on that DC... I have it. That fucking... the coolest fight poster they ever did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Robbie and fucking... Hendricks and you and Gilbert, right?
Yes.
I fucking have a copy of it right there in a box.
My first title defense when I fought Gilbert. Yeah, we came off the Ultimate Fighter show.
Okay, so favorite fight gotta be Tony, but favorite KO Thompson.
Yeah, I would say that's my biggest. Honestly, when I look back at my career in MMA, that's my biggest achievement, bro. Like Wonder Boy was the hardest.
Wonder Boy is for real.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I mean there's.
I moved up a weight class, you know, and it was a big challenge. Like that was my first fight at 170. I was coming up with a loss at 155, and I'm like, fuck it. If I go to 70, I don't want to go fight a bum. I want to fight the best guy next in line. I think he was number 3 at the time.
Yeah, yeah. That was that was props,
Anthony,
dude.
give me 2 losses in your career where you were like, I want that fucking back because I know I could have won it if I didn't, make a wrong move or not come in.
I feel like every loss I have is
right.
Bro, something went wrong, and like I don't think no one's better than me at fighting. It's just
give me 2 though. Give me 2 that you want.
Tony Ferguson, 1,000,000%. Tony Ferguson, man, I broke my hand in that fight, and I dropped him, and I tried to overhand right him, and I fucking broke my right hand throwing a dumbass punch. I always do that when I throw that.
Is that why you were like? Were you in pain when you were like?
No, I was just about to bring that up.
I don't even remember why I did that, bro. I swear. Like, when I look back at that, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I was doing. It didn't look cool. It was just weird.
It did look cool, bro. It looked fucking way cool. It looked like 2 dudes just bros being bros, just beating the shit out of each other. I don't know, bro. You were enjoying it.
I remember I was bleeding in his face, right? And, like, it was dripping in his face. And he's, like, off his back, like, trying to get away from my blood.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Dude, you and Max at 155 would be interesting. I mean, I'm not answering your question for you.
That's what I was going to say. That's my second one. Max Holloway. Max Holloway's the only guy to ever body kick TKO. I never got finished. I always got beat by submissions or my broken hands or something. Not submissions, by decisions or I get hurt or something. Max Holloway was the only guy that body kicked me and dropped me. I felt that shit. I turned southpaw. He hit me with a body kick. But I was at 145. I had nothing. I didn't have nothing on me. He hit me with
your liver was fucked up cutting the 45.
I never felt that before in a fight ever. I was just like, damn, you can't do nothing. Just get shut down. I was like, that's how Cowboy felt.
Yeah. So I do want to ask this question because I was talking to somebody about it the other day because somebody got stopped by a liver kick and I forget who it was, but then I was thinking about like Tank and Ryan Garcia, right? And there's something about this delayed reaction. Oh, it was the Karate Combat main event.
Oh, bro, yeah.
So
our champion got kicked.
Right? Yeah, when you get hit in the liver, of where like you go forward like 2 steps and it's like it finally connects to your fucking brain and then they just collapse. What is that feeling like? Because nobody knows what it feels like unless it's been done to you.
That's the worst feeling because you're conscious. Like, you know what's going on. You're like making the decision to go quit. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm not a quitter, bro. I'll fight to the end. But when you get hit in the body shot, like, you literally just shut down. And I know what's going on. I'm like, fuck, I'm being a bitch right now. But you can't help it, man. Like, I don't care who you are. You get in that body like that, you're going down. Like, that shit, it takes a while to come back, too.
At least fans seem to always understand, like, they know that that's true. It's not like leg kicks. They're like, I could take a fucking leg kick. Bro, take one. One, I dare you. You know? But, yeah, bro, that shit just shuts you the fuck down. I've never been kicked hard enough to do that, but,
Yeah.
Is it painful or is it just...
Nah, it's not even painful. It's more embarrassing, honestly, because I'm like, bro, I'm conscious of knowing that I'm quitting, and that's like, that was what I was done with, and I was like, fuck, he got me. Like, I was more embarrassed than I was in pain.
Damn.
Mac, we'll be in December. We'll be in Vegas in December, and Anthony will be happy to fucking put one on you real quick.
Dude, Yeah, sure. Let's go for it, man.
Little liver kick.
My
So you can
pleasure.
feel it.
Yeah,
I'll do that for free, for sure, Mac.
for sure, for
Is
sure.
that where you
Then we'll
live,
both-
Pettis? You live in Vegas?
Yeah, I still have my house in Milwaukee, but I'm full time out here in Vegas now, bro. Too much money out here.
Ooh, I should have
Yeah,
worn my Brew Crew hoodie.
Gambling's it looks fun.
Man, I
Hey,
gamble. I gamble sporadically. I stopped posting. My wife is like, "Yo, you can't post gambling no more. Pull back on that." Like, I gamble.
Oh, you can't?
Why? You were posting 450,000 wins.
That's why.
Like,
She's like, you leave out of town and shit. So I'm
oh,
like,
people
yeah.
be hating. People be hating for sure.
No, they roll up on you. But Anthony probably don't even remember this, but like after I first met him, it was like 3 days later. He hits me with a text at like 1 a.m. and it's the money counter. He's at the counter cashing out. The money counter just going.
That's my favorite sound right there.
It
That's my
damn
favorite
sure
sound.
is, brother. It damn sure is. Anthony and I are both big gamblers. I think we both use one of the same hosts in
Yeah,
Vegas.
Travis. That's
But
Travis.
It's funny because I always get these pictures at 1 a.m., right? And it's like, brrr, but I never get the fucking picture when they get wiped out at the table with them holding out their fucking pockets empty.
Yeah, I don't
Nobody ever sees those.
You can't post your losses though. I mean, as long as like for me, I've been gambling for a long time, man. So I have like a real strategy on how I play and how I do it. Usually blackjack and roulette, and I got systems that I go through. The biggest thing I'm gambling is money management. That's where people fuck up. Like you come in and you don't have the money management skills, you're done. Like now you're gambling.
And not getting too fucked up while you're at the
You don't
table.
drink. If I want to make money, I don't drink. If I want to go have fun, play gambling, I'll go play a $25 table, have my drinks and hang out. But that's why you get free drinks because it messes up the money management part.
Absolutely.
Okay, so for all the pours, oh no, you go ahead. Go ahead, Mike.
Free. No, I was just saying that's free game right there.
Free game. The rule is 100, 2.5. If you come in with $100, you play on a $2.50 table. You come in with $1,000, a $25 table. 10,000, 250. So as long as you stay true to those in blackjack, you'll have enough to last the whole shoe. And I only play double deck, 104 cards. You're dealing with 40 big cards, 40 small cards, and 3 in the middle. If you can understand that, you understand the game.
You play single-handed or double-handed?
Double deck only. Oh, I'll play
single.
It just depends on how the game's going.
Yeah, I play double-handed.
I like playing 3 hands. I do odd hands. I do 1 or 3. If I do 2, I usually you're going to be 50-50. 1 wins, 1 loses. So if you have 3 hands, 2 wins, 1 lose, you're up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fire, yeah. That's fire.
And then roulette. Think about roulette. I mean, it's for another free game, but roulette. So you're talking about. I don't do double zeros. That's the dumbest in the world. Triple zeros, dumbest shit in the world. Single zero roulette. You're talking. If you're playing 18 numbers, you have a 51% chance of winning. And if your money manager is right, that's 35-1. If one of the small chips hit, I'm back to normal. But if I hit up with a double one or a triple one, that's where my money gets made. So I got my numbers, I spread them out, and I always play at least 18 numbers, so I got a 52, 53% chance of winning on the wheel. But I only use roulette when I win money on blackjack. So I work my bankroll up on blackjack, boom, I take that over roulette, and then hopefully I leave with a couple $100,000.
I'll just say this, boys. He knows what he's doing. You ever play box?
That's what I'm
You
choosing.
play baccarat?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I suck at baccarat, though.
That's my game.
I suck at baccarat. I hate following people, and I feel like everybody's like waiting and looking at shit. I like to be the leader. I'm like, this is like blackjack, man. It's just what it is. Dana's one of the best at it, bro. Like if you play high limit stakes blackjack, and you got to have the bankroll. I think most people don't have the bankroll for that shit, so they're like trying to go. It's really hard to work up from like $1,000. I've done it before, 1,000 to 100,000, but it's really hard to do that. It's rare. You got to be in the right place, right time, the right shoe. Like it's really hard to do that. But if you're coming with 100K and you want to win 100K. Just got a money management.
Yeah.
I'm not a
That's
gambler.
such a weird.
I'm really not a gambler.
Yeah, me either.
I didn't even.
Me either at
Don't
all.
gamble, Mike. Don't gamble. Don't gamble. Don't gamble.
I don't. That's
Anthony,
why
he
I
hit me
fight.
the other day, and he's like,
Put the training in.
"Nah, Mike, come on now." So we're on my boat like last week, and my brother's and he's like, "Hey, I need a sports betting website."
Yeah,
right?
I like
And
it.
so my brother gives him one. So then Mike's hit me the next day. It's like Sunday, and he's like, "Yo, I'm taking the Cowboys. I'm taking this. I'm taking this." Hey, and Anthony, you know what I said to him? I said, I don't care what you do, just don't gamble much, man. I've seen more motherfuckers lose, especially sports betting. Right?
Sports betting's worse, bro.
Getting into bookies, like I've seen more. I've seen it ruin lives.
Oh,
That's
man.
what I told Mike.
Yeah, sports betting is worse, honestly. I mean, it's the same thing. Money management. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane when you're betting, and if you're winning,
Most people don't have it.
Yeah, it's the hardest thing. I mean, money management. You can't teach it.
Nah, you can't.
I've lost the most on internet blackjack. That's where I've lost the most.
Don't play that, bro. Internet black.
Anthony, please tell him how fucking
Don't play
retarded
that.
that is.
lose, dude. I lost like a
Don't play
couple
that.
thousand on my.
Oh
bookie.
shit.
Damn, don't do that.
Dude,
Internet
that
black
was a long
is
time ago. That's
When
why I
you-
needed a
when
new
you- when you
gambling
come to
site
Vegas,
to
Mike-
place bets.
Yeah, when you come to Vegas, I'll show you a little system.
I'm really curious. Like, okay, so if you don't really drink while you're doing it, it doesn't sound like it's just like an impulse. Go have some fun. Like it's like a fucking hobby almost. It's like what is
Now,
it?
I keep track of my wins and losses, so I do mine on a month basis, right? So I
Yeah,
Job.
So it's
not
like
a job. It's not a job, 'cause I enjoy it.
almost.
not a job because I enjoy it. But sometimes it takes me, I can go 100K in 10 minutes or I can go in 100K in 8 hours. It just depends how it flows. But yeah, when I tell my wife I'm going to gamble, like I'm not drinking, I'm literally going
Business.
Yeah, it's business. I'm trying to whoop the casino's ass. Me versus them.
Hey, when your wife goes with you, do you have the same policy I have, which is it's called go away money?
Oh man,
She walks up to
literally
the table and
when we
she's like,
go,
"Hey babe, how you doing?" And I'm like,
I said we
Go
sit in the high
away.
living rooms. We're in the high living rooms. So it's literally just me and her, the dealer, and she's over there sitting in the corner on her cell phone, and I'm just usually going.
That's interesting. I might be the only dude out there that watches sports like religiously, baseball, football, MMA. I don't bet like ever. If I remember to, I'd usually put like a $10 parlay, just Hail Mary some shit.
Yeah.
Like if the Dallas would have won last night, like a $700 parlay, but I didn't really expect it. But that's like the most I'll gamble. But I also don't do fantasy leagues, anything like that. I genuinely just watch the sport.
Yeah.
And I think that's fucking rare now.
Honestly, if you can enjoy the sport for the true purity of it, then you're man. You're actually a fan. If you gotta go sweat a game, then you're addicted to gambling.
right,
Yeah,
When I
100%.
even put $5 on something, I'm more
It's like-
into it. I'm
it's
like,
fun,
oh,
right?
you gotta
It's
go.
fun.
You gotta
It's
win,
fun
man.
when you got some personal skin in the game. It makes it that much better, bro.
For sure.
All right, so I got another question about this because we were talking about like you were talking about how you're a fan, right? You're a true fan because you don't gamble. Like most people now, look, for me, I love NFL. I've watched it my entire life. But honestly, when I quit gambling, I watch the Titans. That's my team. I'm not sitting around watching the fucking Browns and Bengals on Thursday night. I'm not, right? But I'm still a fan of the NFL. And Mac, you'll probably understand what I'm saying. Everybody will, but Mac will really get it. What is the fucking deal with all of the UFC hardcore fans calling everybody casuals because they don't go and break down film and they don't watch the fucking random undercard fights, right? Like, what's the deal with this? Is it some kind of like superiority thing?
Mostly, it depends on who it comes from, dude. It's like most of the time just like a joke. Like I'll call people casuals, but only like if there's a pay-per-view coming up, dude, and no one's watching it, and your favorite fighter is Conor McGregor and Ronda Rousey, like yeah, you would be a casual. But it's like a joke. There are people that gatekeep, right? And they're like, oh, you don't know fucking Ubakar from Dagestan fighting in the early prelims? Like, no. Like, you fucking can't. Not many people say it with true vitriol. It's usually kind of just like a joke. Like, oh, weird. Conor McGregor card? You haven't asked me about MMA in a couple months, you know? It's kind of just like a joke.
I'm assuming as
I've never
fighters,
said it to anyone like gatekeeping shit. I don't give a fuck if you watch fights.
I just see it a lot, dude. I see it a lot in
Yeah.
the comments, right? And they're just like they got like anger towards the casual fan, which is weird to me because I would assume like Anthony and Mike are like they don't call fucking people casuals. It's like, yo, if you're watching me, great. You know
It's
what I mean?
social media,
I think
bro.
more times, yeah, and more times than not, I think it's newer fans getting into it, and then like, let's say you and your boy started watching MMA together, kind of, but you're way more into it. But you kind of started that journey together, essentially. I don't know, and he's behind. You might be fucking start calling people casuals. I don't know, dude. When people get into MMA, they get balls deep in it a lot of times, bro. And then I feel like they try to like isolate themselves into a group. Where you look at like the real hardcore fans, we don't give a fuck. None of us give a fuck.
Pettis,
if I ever say casual,
quick
I'm
question for
joking.
Pettis. Who do you want to see me fight in BKFC?
Bro, there's you versus what's the dude that just the champ right now? What's the dude's name? Lorenzo Hunt.
Talking about Juggernaut? Damn,
Juggernaut, bro.
that's
Hunt.
a tough one.
You going up to
Yeah.
205,
Well, wait
bro?
to see what is Hunt? What is Lorenzo walking at?
Well, I thought he's like a double champ at 205 and at
80,
185.
85, yeah, that'd be a good one, bro.
But his
I saw
last
him out here
fight
in
was, yeah,
Vegas.
it might have been
He's
185.
that'd be a fun one to watch, bro. Because I mean, he gets hit, but he come. You know,
I
he
respect
gets,
it. No, I respect
yeah,
that
yeah.
answer. He's
That's a dog fight.
he's
That's a
good.
dog fight. Yeah, that's a dog
Yeah.
fight right there. That'd be very entertaining.
That's real. I was talking about like a famous person. Well, more famous.
Oh,
Like
famous. Okay, let's see.
maybe
Bro,
just
people
a white
they don't
belt
want to bare knuckle.
celebrity.
They don't want to bare knuckle box though.
Right,
That's just different, man. That's a
Yeah,
savage. That's
that's
some
fine.
savage shit right there. My hat goes off to you for that, bro. Like that's some savage ass shit you guys do over there, right? I respect it.
Thank you, sir.
But like Chet, on the undercard? Because I went when on the Luke Rockhold card, it was you and Luke, and it was Mendez and Alvarez was the undercard, which is a great fight too. Like,
Yeah.
Dude, that was mean. Yeah.
Mendez is a beast, bro. Yeah, Alvarez too. I mean, Alvarez comes from wrestling background. So throw them hands like that. You gotta respect that too. I fought Alvarez. Right
Yeah.
after I lost to RDA, he beat me by decision.
Yep.
Wait.
Bro, I'm gonna go
Alvar-
through. You know what,
um,
in a second, I'm gonna read off some of like the notable names you fought, just for the viewers listening. So I don't have to Google this shit because like it's truly fucking
And
ridiculous.
Alvarez beat RDA.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that.
But MMA,
He
math
got some
don't make
wins.
sense.
And then Connor made him look like nothing.
Right. In New York, I was there. I was like, wow.
Crazy. What's
But
the
that
best
off real quick,
stadium
Matt,
you
for
ever
the
fought at? What's your favorite location you've ever fought at?
Japan, bro. That's the Saitama Arena, bro. That was insane.
You
The
fought in
fans-
Japan?
Fought in Japan, bro. It was like 8 a.m. on a Sunday morning. I fought Joe Lozon, head kick knockout, first round. Nasty too, like nasty,
That's
nasty.
crazy.
That's how I actually got my title run. I knocked him out, and then right after that, they were like, all right, Cowboy was kind of making his run, and then Ben Henderson won the belt, and I beat Ben at WEC, and I was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, how's this guy in the champ? And I already beat him, so I got Cowboy, and boom, right to bed.
It's so funny to me, dude. People still think the Showtime kick was a KO. Do people do that to your face a lot? They tell you that.
Best knockout ever. I take it though. I'm like, yeah, it was dope.
Yeah, I fucked up. I thought he did. I thought that Benson won that fight by decision. I thought I didn't. I forgot that they gave it to you by decision. Maybe that's where I mixed my head up because I knew it wasn't a finish, but you did get the call at the end. That's good, man.
Yeah,
Benson survived, surprisingly. But Josh, that kind of tails back to your question. If I ask somebody, "What's your favorite knockout?" They're like, "Oh, dude, the Showtime kick. You know, with the blue mat." That show, I'd be like, "Casual. It's not even fucking head kick."
the blue mat.
He's on the Wheaties box, bitch. Like, all right, let me grab 2 beers and be right back.
I'd have been like, "That's a good one, actually. That's a good. That's a good highlight, man."
Nah, bro. It's still dope. He definitely was rocked, but he didn't get knocked out. Cause I hit him with my foot. If I would have hit him with my shin, it would have been a done one. Like he was just a little too far to get my shin around him.
So go ahead, Mike.
Real quick about the Roy Jones fight. So what was something in the fight that you noticed that he was doing that just made it so difficult for you?
His his fast twitch, bro. Like his first punch got there really quick. Like it was like I think when I watched back the fight, he was making me bite on a rhythm. So he would wait for me to he would counter off of whatever I was doing. So if I were to do like a rhythm check, he would go. Or if I would do like a jab check, he'd go. So it was like I was trying to figure out how to stop that, honestly. So my coach, like when we went in that fight, we knew we weren't going to knock out Roy Jones Jr. We're like, all right, so we got to go outpoint this guy. We got to go out, look better, move. If we got in the clinch, make it dirty in the clinch and push him off. So I did a lot of push offs, like when he would come at me, because I mean he was way bigger than me. You know, I knew that, so I was like, I can't stay in the clinch and fight him in there. So my coach's game plan was like, we're going to outpoint him, we're going to punch a lot, and move around him basically, because he fought Mike Tyson before me. I'm not going to knock him out. So we're just being realistic. Like, let's just go out point them. We have a smart game plan, and I think that's what we did out there.
That's great, man.
Yeah,
You're a really smart guy, man.
Believe me, if you're gonna fight Roy, you got to think your way around the ring.
you got to, bro. Yeah, I mean, he hit me with a left hook. It was the 7th round, bro, and I heard bells. I never heard that in MMA. I've never been rocked in MMA. Like I've never had a guy like I've got cut and shit, but I've never been where I was like, yo, I couldn't see where I was at. He made a check hook, bro, and I just like everything was like loud. I was like, oh shit, let me gather my thoughts and get back to the game plan. Get on his bike and touch and move. But yeah, he caught me with a nice left check hook, and it was another thing. It was like off that rhythm. That was the one he was waiting for me, and I said, whoa, big left hook, and I think he hit like in the ear, in the back of the head, but it was like, man, it was like I heard bells. I was like, yo, that's different.
Yeah, I mean, I think he has the greatest highlight reel of all time.
Bro, and the longest highlight reel, bro. Yeah, honestly, I
Right.
continue. He's doing, yeah, like he's been in it forever. Every weight class, bro. He's a monster, bro. Like one
4
of
weight
those
classes.
legend
And
of
you
the
got a
game, bro.
dub, man. You got a dub over him, bro. That's how
Got
big
it,
you
bro.
are,
I'm the
bro.
first. I think I'm the first ever boxer to make their debut against a champion and get a win. Heavyweight boxer.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So I think that's like, all right, so that's a question for me. So when you're looking back, right, 10 years, 15 years from now,
Yeah.
and you're like, you're talking to your kids about it, right? Like, that's got to be up there with some of your bigger UFC wins, just as far as like legend status. You know what I mean?
I feel like the baby boomer and a little older than me generation appreciates it
Of
way more
course.
than these new guys. Like they're like, oh,
Of course.
why are you fighting this guy? Like I'm like, you don't know what he's done. Like this guy's
Yeah.
a fucking killer. Like it's
Yeah.
So I feel like I get more respect from like the older crowd on that fight because they know who Roy is, and I feel like the younger crowds, like this guy, Mac was just saying.
Yeah, but I'm just saying for you personally.
Oh, for me, bro, yeah. I mean,
Right?
Roy Jones Jr., bro. Oh my god,
Like
and
that's
it's
got to be
boxing.
one of the better wins.
It took away
with a
my
guy
legs,
getting
and my
rolled.
legs is everything I started with. So I literally, I've been training boxing this whole year. So I plan on going to box all next year. I'm gonna do 3 or 4 fights next year, like real fights. I want to fight like some real boxers. So
All right.
so that's the next goal for me is going into boxing. I have one more MMA fight with PFL. So I'm under my contract with them, do my PFL fight, but I'm gonna go box. Boxing is what I'm focusing on, man. So I think.
All right. So I didn't know this.
Yeah,
So
no one knows.
you got a
No one knows
contract with
this.
PFL right now? Do you know who you're fighting or no?
No, I'm on their pay-per-view format. So in February, when Francis Ngannou fights and Judah Kayla Harris fights, I'll be on that card as well. We don't know who we're fighting.
Okay.
Cedric Doumbé just won out of
Oh,
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
tease me,
Oh,
bro.
I like that.
that one right
Don't tease me,
there.
bro.
That gets me excited. Like that a guy like that will make me wake up and go hit these miles in the morning and go train because I mean he's a killer. So that one excites me. Shit, we get Mike Perry over there in the PFL. That excites me. Are you done with MMA, Mike?
Well, I'm pretty locked in on this new BKFC contract, but it
Yeah,
does
get
give
that
me
money, bro.
freedom. It gives me freedom to range. I can have like I plan to possibly fight in my own organization, and I can touch in boxing. And I kind of always wanted to get on, in that boxing ring and redeem myself. I did that triad combat with
Yeah.
Metallica.
Yeah.
And I fought a 27-3 pro boxer. That was a good fight. And then I had my 3 bare knuckle fights. And people try to discredit me because MVP and Luke Rocco didn't have experience in bare knuckle boxing. But I fought Julian Lane, who had 9 bare knuckle fights. And, I learned a lot from his little
Bro,
crazy ass.
MVP is a monster in the boxing ring. You see all his boxing fights? I mean, obviously you fought him, but like, dude
Yeah,
can
we had a
box.
great
MVP
fight.
can box, bro. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
we had a
that was a
great
big
fight,
win.
man. I was
That was a
very
big win for you.
excited to fight him. He's that type of guy. I got up and did those miles,
Facts, yeah, for sure.
All right, I want to give a shout out to Anthony's brother Sergio, smoking
Yeah.
on fire
Wow.
right now.
Champion.
killing
Wow,
people.
right? Bro, I've been telling everybody since he was first started. I'm like, wait till this kid knows how good he is. Because I spar with him. He's one of the only guys that gives me problems when I spar. Like he rocks. He rocks me in sparring. Like
He's
dude's
too
good.
fast.
He's just little, man. He's like
So
he knows how
fast.
to find his range. He gets inside there. He's in and out. Like, but he came from Taekwondo like I did. He wrestled in high school. He's kickboxed with Duke. He trained with Ben Askren, jiu-jitsu his whole life. So he's a well-rounded martial artist, bro. And the thing about him is he wants to win. Like he wants to win, but he wants. Let me say it like this. I think Frank Mir just told me this. He was like the foreigners. They fight not to lose, and Americans fight to win. So like we get caught up in that. Oh shit! I want to go impress somebody and do something crazy. And like the Russians, no, they're fighting not to lose. Like I'll take you down, grab your wrist, and punch you in the face every time. I think Sergio has a little bit of both. So he has a little bit of flash, but he also knows how to control the round and when he needs to pull back. And me, I get caught up in like that crazy flashy shit, and it backfired on me. But also, it also gave me that Wheaties box with the Showtime cake. But sometimes it doesn't go your way.
All right, tell me one story about when you whooped his ass when he was younger.
Bro, oh my God. He's going to get mad about this one. So it's a
Good.
long time
Good.
ago. Long
Because
time
we're gonna
ago.
have him on here later, and then we'll
Good. He'll
tell him
remember
about
this
this.
one. He'll remember this one. It's a long time ago. Like I don't know how many girls back. Like one of his first girlfriends, but he like loved this girl. Not loved her, but he was like really like infatuated with her. He was like all about her. And me and him were playing basketball, and I'm like, I was better than my basketball, so I'm like crossing him over and just talking mad shit to him. And I'm like, oh, you gonna go cry? You gonna go get your, go to? I forget her name. I don't know but I'm gonna go to her. And he goes down. Like I cross him, he falls, and he bites my ankle, bro. Like just literally bites my fucking ankle. And I'm like, bro, what the heck? You just did that for real? And we go in the house, and he's like telling my mom like what happened. And I'm like still making fun of him a little bit, like, oh, like, just giving him shit like a big bro. He comes back and hits me with the right hand. In the face, right in front of my mom. And I'm like, dude, hold on, you just did that, bro? I was so pissed, but that was one of those moments where, me and Serge, I want to say I whooped his ass. Like, my dad died when I was 15, and Serge was only 9 years old at the time, man. So I think when that happened at 15, like, he got killed in a house robbery across the street from my house, bro. Like, at that time of my life, I was like, me and Serge weren't that close, but right when he died and, like, that thing happened, I was like, yo, this little kid, I got to look out for him, man. Like, I'm his dad now. Like, I'm his fatherly figure. And I took him under our wing after that. So we were really close, from like 15 to now, man. Even now, he lived with me forever. He was, in my house, and training together. Like, we had a great relationship, tied with mixed martial arts. But I think when my dad died, like I said, like, I took him under my wing, man. I had to, like, not big bro him, but, like, just make sure he was okay. And now to see what he's doing now, bro, he's getting married next year, bought a house, like, champ of the world. Like, man.
You did a great job.
Appreciate that, bro. That's one of my proudest moments, honestly, bro. My little brother doesn't know that I led that way for him to live life he has.
That's
Hey,
the kind of shit that
you never forget where you come from. I always see you posting. You there to visit your pops. You always there and shit. And it's always mad respect, bro.
Appreciate that, bro. Yeah, when I won the belt in my hometown, bro, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So, like, right after the arena, I took that right to his gravesite.
I remember that.
Pic. Yeah, everyone was like, damn, that was a real one. But I told him, I remember right before the fight, I went to his grave and my pops, look over me. And I never asked him to, like, let me win. Like, let me just fight my best fight. Let me just be, my best version of me. And then after that win, bro, I was like, I'm bringing that belt back. And shit, I did it, bro. I was like, well, another proud moment, man. I did some cool shit in my life, bro. It's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. The next one's the best one. That's what I always say.
I'm not done yet either, bro. I'm still building. No. I'm still building.
So you said you were gonna fight. You got a PFL fight lined up. You just don't know who it is yet. Then you said you wanted to do 3 or 4 more boxing matches over the next year.
This year, I'm gonna do 3 or 4 this year.
Fucking names, man. Who
man, I want to fight some real boxers. Actually, I think I'm gonna take because I fought Roy in April. I want to get another boxing. Like I don't know. I'll probably maybe an MMA guy, depending on who's available. Because I mean, there's so many opportunities right now, bro. If you're a free agent, fighters out there. If you're a free agent, opportunities out there. I want to fight one more boxing fight, just get back in the mix again, and then I want to fight some real boxers. Honestly, I think I'll try to make a run at 168.
There you go.
Closed mouth.
168 is a great fucking
They asked what's his name to call his shots, and he's like, I don't like to call shots. I just like to show up when they ask me to come. And no, call your fucking shot, man. You just did it. So like, come on, bro. I'm trying to fight everybody too. I want to fight some real boxers. I want to fight everybody.
Oh man, I got some real boxers at 168 that'll love to fight us, bro. And that's you're on that weight class too.
Oh. Hey, this is a great point that Mike just made because I hit him up, and I'm not gonna name names, but somebody just won a fight, and
you were
Mike
just telling Pettis to name names.
No, hang on. But I'm not going to. Mike can name names if he wants to. I'm not in the position to name names.
Bobby Green,
hit him up.
He left me on red.
Hit him up. Are you want me to name names?
Bobby Green, he left me on red. I was like, bro, come on the show.
I said, yeah, tell him.
I was like, come on the show, and he opens it. They had me on here. We was looking because you wasn't able to come on Friday, right? So like, I'm going through my phone and I start Instagram calling Kevin Holland, Sean Strickland, Joaquin Buckley. He had a fight last night or whatever, and he got the dub. Not maybe to the best of his ability. He didn't get the big KO he wanted, but
Morano's a beast though. The guy he fought is a beast. I fought that.
Alex Morano is tough, man. He usually fights better the harder you hit him. Then I got a FaceTime from like my boy Jen Gates, and he was with Gilly the Kid. So I was like, that's fire, bro.
Yeah.
You know Gilly?
Yeah, of course, bro. Hell yeah. He's at all the fights too. He be at all the boxing too.
Yeah, he
Hey,
a boss.
but back to the point I was making, he's like, "Yo, Bobby left me on Reed," and I was like, "Well, I'm fucking with him," and I'm like, "Well, just tell him you fucking fight him then." And Mike responds real quick and says, "He don't get to call his shots." But that's but that goes back to the position you two are in, right?
Facts.
You don't have anybody over you anymore. You get to call your own fucking shots. That's a big deal.
Yeah, for sure, man. The freedom of that is actually is very free, man. When I was in the UFC, no, nothing wrong with the UFC. I love the UFC, but that was my home. Like they gave me everything. But you are like a lot of short. Like when I fought Tony Ferguson, it was like 21 days notice. There was a lot of like little short things like that. And if you'll say no, then they'll skip you to the next time your number comes up. So that the fighters know like how much money they're making. They know how to live off of that amount of money. But when you get two checks to one check, that's when you get desperate. I see a lot of fighters get desperate when they get one check and they take fights they shouldn't be taking. And I just advice for fighters, man, like save your money and fight when you want to fight, not when you need to fight. Like it shouldn't be about the money. If it's about the money, it's a slow road to death.
That was going to be one of my questions for you and Mike. I mean, that was kind of, you're just giving in general fight, advice to fighters. And, these are two guys you clearly should listen to.
Pettis is a lot higher up on that scale if I'd have to say so myself that, because I would have been like, fucking spend it, act like you're going to get billions and fucking just act like you're the shit and it's the easiest job in the world. Obviously, I might not know what the fuck I'm talking about, but I'm still battling. I'm out here. I think I got another 10 years of big-ass fights in me, so.
Hell yeah, at least.
At least.
So then what's your advice, Anthony? To make it specific, fighters that are in the UFC maybe coming to the end of their UFC career or are thinking about free agency, what's some advice you'd give those fighters? And you too, Mike, because you guys have both smashed it. You two are people that left the UFC, you guys are killing it.
It's a scary position, bro, because when UFC's cut with 5 fights, 4 fights, 3 fights, but when you come down to those last couple fights, performance matters, and that's where your negotiation lies in your performance in your last. You're only as good as your last fight, and that's the game of fighting. So I feel like when I did it, I was like, I knew I was going to go to a free agency, but I've done so much in my career, bro. I got these belts and shit. I'm like, man, okay, what else can I do with this company? I fought everybody. At the time, I went up to 170 because I couldn't fight nobody else at 55. I went to 45, and I was like, yeah, I'm never doing that again. So I was like in this position where I was like, yo, like I've kind of done everything I could with this company, and they blessed me, crazy. Dana White allowed me to buy my mama a house, bro. I owe that dude all the respect, and he's a good friend of mine. But when it's coming down for fighters, when it's coming down to those last couple of fights, man, like bet on yourself, and for me, I mean. Sergio too. When Sergio left the Bellator, or when I left the UFC to go to Bellator and shop around, he was nervous as fuck. He's like, man, I don't know if I want to leave. Like, I'm like, bro, like we are prize fighters. Like that's what we are here for. We're here to win a prize. And if that prize is bigger somewhere else, it is what it is. It's business, man. And I think a lot of the younger fighters they're afraid to get to that spot. And I mean, and maybe they don't need to get to that spot yet, right? Like, do what you want to do with the UFC. If you want to be a champ of the UFC, go all for it, man. Because like once you're on this side of it, that changes. Like that what that means changes.
Well, I would say that. I mean, I feel like I heard a little bit of what I was thinking in your answer, and the fight itself, the fights themselves, that's a part of the journey. Like me, I think I did a lot of my growing in the UFC, and that's where I had like an up and down career. But all I did was just fight. Like there's guys that have been there for more than 10 years and they don't have 15 UFC fights. They don't have as many as I had, and I just fought. Like when I got there, I fought 3 times in 4 months, and I lost the decision to Alan Jouban. So I went in there to scrap it out, thinking everybody's gonna meet me in the middle and we're gonna fight. And then Alan Jouban was like, I'm smart, and I see, he watched my 2 first fights or whatever, and he's like, I'm going to just poke this guy and fucking run around and poke him. And,
He said I'm smart.
he fucking had, he did what he was supposed to do to get the win. So, in my opinion, you know, I did my growing there. I fought. I was real. I kept it real. I grew a fan base, and I didn't see it like the way that I thought I did. Like in my head, I dreamed of getting these big fight purses. I never cared about anything but getting paid to fight, which to me meant proving myself and being like, look, you get what you pay for when you get a Platinum Mike Perry fight. I'm going to get in the ring and I'm going to fucking battle it out, dude, with everything I got. And now, finally, after all the UFC fights and everything, every loss was a lesson. I learned a lot, and then I got my mind in the right place. And, you know, God has a lot to do with it, where God was like, okay, in a way, I've always been a boxer in there beating up these MMA guys, which is the same thing Jake Paul and them are doing, where they're boxing in the boxing ring against MMA fighters. And I was always a boxer in the cage fighting MMA fighters where they were allowed to kick, elbow, knee, grapple, and I had abilities to put the hands on people. That's how I got all of my knockouts. 11 or 12 or 13 of my knockouts is with the hands pretty much. So, you know, I think that if you're a fighter, man, you got to tell yourself that you love it and every part of it, and you got to find out what you're good at and work on that, what you're best at. And when you get in the cage, just, you know, enjoy like the aggression of it and let yourself be free and fight with everything you got every time you get in there, period.
Yeah, big facts. I think also the UFC gives these guys a place to launch their career. Like Mike said, me and Mike wouldn't be in this position without the UFC. Like, he got to make his name in the UFC, my name over there. So it allowed us to get to this position. But we did what we had to do. Mike, they don't make him like me and Mike no more. For like now there's athletes coming into mixed martial arts. Now there's a choice to be a mixed martial artist. Like they're choosing over stick and ball sports to become a fighter because it's the glory's behind it. You know, it's on TV. It's talked about every weekend. Man, Dana White owns 3 nights of the week. He got Tuesday night Dana White Contender Series, the slap fights, UFC. Like it's popular, right? Now you get Mark Zuckerberg doing jiu-jitsu. You got Elon Musk talking about doing, you know, MMA fights. Everybody's into this shit now, man. So I feel like they don't make the fighter era of MMA is starting to weed out slowly. You're starting to get athletes coming in and they're starting to look at it like a business. They're starting to look at, hey, I don't need to fight, you know, 4 or 5 times. I can fight twice. And like, look at boxing, man. Mayweather. The reason why Canelo fights on, you know, last month and May 5th, like, and Mayweather, hit same setup 2 times a year. It's easy to do. It's easy on your body. Not easy to do, but it's not as hard on your body. You're not going to make a mistake in between. Whereas MMA guys, like, we just got to take the fights when they give them to us. So I feel like going back to that point though, in the UFC, if you are in the UFC, build your name, man. Like that is a marketing machine, and if you are part of that machine, it's gonna go. Your name's gonna get built, and based on what you do in those 15 minutes or 25 minutes in that octagon in the UFC, your career after that. That's just building that career after that.
Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, so I thought of like 5 questions there, and both of your answers. One isn't even a question. I remember the Alan Jobon fight, Mike. That was funny because I thought that fight was going to be a banger because Alan Jobon traditionally, bro, he's, you know, pretty as shit. He's like a model for Versace or whatever. He'd bang, bro. He'd go in there and bang a lot of times. I'd be like, holy shit. But he was kind of like, well, not with Perry though. He didn't want to bang with you. I remember thinking that was funny, and I don't blame him. And then the other part, I'm curious, so you obviously fight in PFL, and so I'd like to hear about your experience with them so far, what you tell fans from an honest perspective, however honest you want to be, how you like it at PFL, and then on top of that, Cedric Doumbé, right? So there was like a big public discourse on social media's MMA communities since his fight that like the UFC essentially fumbled him. So this goes like to your marketing thing about UFC. You know, I'm one of the people, I think the UFC does what they do. They know what the fuck they're doing. I think they kind of messed up on him. I know the French commission they thought he was too inexperienced to fight, and they thought Cedric going to the UFC is fucking ridiculous if PFL will pay him, what, like $100K more for that one fight? It was like something like that, right? I think he got $125K. They offered him $20 for UFC. Yeah. What people I don't think understand is I'm like, well, But you guys are just looking at it to, one paycheck. But if you become like the champion of UFC, you're going to make far more than that $1 million payout at the end if you win PFL. That's just fucking facts. So people like look over that shit.
Not necessarily.
Like, what do you think, man? I mean, not necessarily, but you got to win. It's like taking a gamble.
PFL is paying out in a way that these other guys ain't, and there's champions in the UFC that ain't making shit.
Elaborate, like tell the fans
They don't
all this
have
shit.
because the UFC doesn't have to, because they're the ones with the views. People are automatically gonna tune in, and they're not. There's only a couple guys really getting the money, and I feel like even still they're getting the money from outside of the UFC. Their fight purses aren't super crazy.
Yeah, that's definitely big, man. I mean, when I was in UFC, my sponsorships were insane, but the work I had to do for them sponsorships was like taken away from my fights. I'm like, man, now I feel like I'm hired to go to these parties and shake hands and take pics, and like it takes away from my training. Like when I come back, I'm like, I'm a prize fighter. I should be getting my biggest chunk from prize fighting, and then the rest should come second to that until I build these businesses up, because now these are going to take over that. But when I was fighting, like, all right. When I went to the PFL, I just decided, I didn't know where I was going to go yet. They came in with a ridiculous offer, but it was a tournament format. I'm like, man, tournament format it's tough. Like, it's good for younger guys that are hungry as fuck and they want to get in there and like, yo, I'm training every day, all day. But a guy that's established and that has done what I've done in my career, it was really hard for me to transfer into that tournament circuit. Because the first fight, I felt great.
You've done the 2 fights in one night thing already?
No, I did 5. They changed
Just
the
like
format.
a season tournament that gets you to the $1 million
So
final.
you start in April and you fight every 5 weeks. And you got to fight 4
Yeah.
times. So you only got 5 weeks between your fights. So literally, you
That's
train for your
tough.
first fight, and the second fight you're just recovering, and then you got to do your cardio to make weight again. So it put a lot of stress on my body. I definitely wanted that belt, but bro, I'm telling you, that's the hardest format of mixed martial arts out there right now. Like the guys that are winning these things, I respect them, bro. Because like that, putting your body back to back 5 weeks, even sometimes it was like 3.5 weeks. Like you just gotta be ready. If you like the whole season last year, I had a broken hand. I broke it before the season even started. A spin back fist. I was training at Syndicate Martial Arts here. Nathan Levy, I think his name is. I hit him.
Yeah.
I hit his elbow. Boom, and I fractured like this little small part of my hand here. So the whole season, I had a broken hand, and I couldn't pull out because then you don't. It was like, yeah, I went to next year. Like, no way. Like, so I did everything I could. Did the stem cells. Did everything I could in my hand, and the first fight I won. Second fight was 5 weeks later. It's just so hard to turn around, man. Like Mike. Like when you win, you're like on top of the world, bro. Like I want to enjoy this, and then you can't because you got to go right back to camp. You got to go right back to the grind. So I'd say the format of PFL is the toughest. But as far as a businessman, they know what they're doing too. Look at the fundraising they're doing. If you can fundraise like that, like you put yourself in a different position. And 10% for what they got is, man, I don't know how that deal even came about. Well, power to them. I love that the PFL is doing what they're doing. It gives the fighters more options. The more options fighter has, the better it is for the whole community.
Let me ask about this, because this is one thing people talk about all the time. I think I've heard different stories, but you talked about the sponsorship. I think both of you would have been. Pettis, you for sure. Mike, I think, were you both in when they went to the Reebok deal and cut your guys' sponsors?
Bro, I was the first sponsored fighter by Reebok. So I went before they got the Reebok deal. I was sponsored by Reebok, and they were paying me good money every year. But I think it was like almost $150 a year, but just straight from Reebok. So before they came over, I did the uniform deal. So when the uniform deal came over, I didn't really care because I was already sponsored by Reebok. So I was like, all good. Like I'm gonna re-wear this shit anyway.
Yeah,
but everybody else,
such an OG. He was wearing, all the brands on his shorts and shit back in the day. I never fought when that was possible, but when I came in, I had like 2 fights, and then they had done the deal. Like I debuted, and then they did the deal with WME, IMG, the Fertitas sold it, and then they finally who the old matchmaker? I forget the old matchmaker. The short span.
Joe Silva.
Joe Silva. He matched me up a couple times. I got to work with him a couple times, and then the Fertitas switched. Boom! They made the changeover, and then WME set everything up. That's when we did the retreat. Got to meet Kobe and shit, and Robert Hirschbeck from Shark Tank, and that was a good time back then, man. But
Yeah.
that was I felt like I was 10 years old. Like I'm just now
Well,
like 21.
Do you
but
think
Max,
more
to get back to
fighters?
that,
Oh
Max,
yeah,
to
yeah,
get
yeah.
back to that though, like I come from both sides of that. So like when the Reebok thing came around, I had fighters like just guys that I managed that they came up with me that were on the undercard. That it would be so hard for them to get a sponsor. So for them to get like a 5 Z's from Reebok, it helped them guys so much, and they didn't have to go try to collect that check. Cause like man, on the undercard, like when you were doing your own sponsorships, I'd be like, oh, how much you want to sponsor me for? 5 G's. I put a logo on there, boom. But I had to go collect the check. I had to make sure I got paid,
Bro,
and I had to pay the taxes and all that shit. And it's a whole. For the lower level guys, it's better to have this. For the higher level guys with some names, obviously they would want to have their own shit, but it's just a different. It's how do you play the medium. So I think the lower level guys benefited big time from that.
Yes. Well, see, and like, dude, that's why I argue, because like I'm not a shill for anything, but like I think of things from both sides, and so like you hear all the time a lot of hardcore fans go, "Oh, dude, the UFC fucked everyone. They fucked everybody. This guy used to make Brendan Schaub, famously said he lost like hundreds of $1,000s each fight from sponsorships, and so people just embedded that in their head that every single fighter was losing that, and I was like, you think literally like the opening prelims dudes are making hundreds of K off Condom Depot? Like, no, dude, it's helping out far more than it's probably really hurting. And like I've always kind of thought that. And I'm not saying.
well, they're
that's
trying
interesting,
to
man.
like be considered like an NFL or an NBA, and they have a uniform and they have like
Yeah,
like a
I like it.
structure, right? But if you were an up and comer and you made it to the UFC, you could instantly walk into a business and be like, "I'll put your logo on my shorts," and you can't do that anymore. That logo
It
just
wasn't
because
that easy, Mike.
was
It
that
wasn't that easy, bro. It
it
wasn't that
wasn't
easy.
that easy.
Nah, not back then, bro. Like it was a wild, wild west, bro. Like
No one
you saw all
cared.
these sponsors. No, it was up to the fighters to collect the money and their agent. And like now it's like for sure, if you were popular, that was the deal. Like all right, I can go into like. But if you were just in the UFC was still trying to build up. They weren't even in a spot where like the UFC wasn't as famous as it is now. But like now, brand, anybody hears like, oh, I do MMA. Like, oh, you do UFC. Like back then, it was still the UFC was trying to build that to that. So I think like when that era happened, man, like there was a select few guys. Like now, it's a select few guys that would get sponsors and walk in like, hey, I will come on my shorts. But there was a bunch of guys that would not have got no money, and they would try to collect their own checks if they would have got that money, like a mom and pop business that's
Yeah.
and it's just a different level of business. So like when you're an athlete, I don't want to go. For me, I didn't want to go talk to like, hey, let me go get sponsored by the car wash. Like I feel like when it happened, it
Joe's
was
Tire
like,
Shop.
yeah, bro, it came in right, but like the UFC's their business model is their business model for a reason, and this is why they are the leader of the sport.
All right, so leading into that a little bit, and then we'll wrap it up with the 294 card, and then Anthony can roll. We've
Dope.
kept him on for a long time.
All good, bro.
But,
This is fun, actually.
yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate you
Appreciate you,
saying
bro.
that. So we talked to DJ about this a little bit, and I'm of the opinion that I think that MMA fighters in general have a union within a few years, right? Like the NFLPA, the NBA
But you
Players
think they will?
Association. Huh? Oh, I think
You
they
think
do.
they will, or they're
think they do.
capable of it? Because
No,
they will not.
I think they're definitely
They're
capable,
capable of it, but
and I
it
think
won't
they.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were
Really?
you Pettis? Were you part of the Donald Cerrone, Bjorn Ramsey thing?
Nah, what is that?
Remember Tim Kennedy, fucking cowboy GSP, and that Bjorn Ramsey picture? They said we're unionizing. It was like big news, and then went away.
No,
Do you remember? I could have sworn you were one of the no, apparently not. I don't know. He had big names on there. I was like, Pettis might have been one of them. Never mind. Forget that.
No, I wasn't on that one. But yeah, I think man, fighters don't even talk to each other or ask how much they get paid. Like I guarantee, if you go to ask somebody in the UFC, you go, hey, what's somebody in your weight class making right now? They have no idea. Like it's
Really?
just how that happens, and the communication can open between fighters. But we're fighting each other, so it's really hard to like be friendly with. But if I'm playing football against somebody or basketball against somebody, it's a different like level of communication. Like so when you're about to fight somebody, I don't give a fuck what you're making. I'm trying to whoop your ass. But business wise, I should have known what the fuck he's making because now I have a bargaining tool to make
Right.
my next. So once fighters can start talking to fighters and like get across that lines and we can work together, then I could see something happening. But I think we're far off, man. I deal
I'm
with
calling my
fighters from all
shot.
over.
3 to 5 years, I think it happens.
3 to 5. Well, I
I
guess
think
to
3 to
see what
5.
happens with that lawsuit that's going on is also like
Yeah,
very
I mean that's a factor, right? That's a factor.
put some speed to that.
And you know what? I mean, here's the thing too: is like a lot of it is maybe not just fighters, but also managers, right? Like the managers need to quit like fucking hating on each other in public and talk behind the scenes and figure out how they can get everybody that they're fucking managing. Like, yo, say there's 10 managers out there that manage pretty much everybody, right? If those 10
Yeah.
guys get together in a room and sit down and say, hey, boys, like we manage the entire fucking fleet, right? We can do something here because we got power.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
I don't think that.
What
Go
you
ahead.
said, the truth. Like that's like, man, the management business in mixed martial arts is like the Wild Wild West. Like you literally can be anybody can be a manager in mixed martial arts. You know, a friend, hey, come be my manager. So it's like the Wild Wild West. But you're right. Like when there's a UFC fight card on, when there's a PFL fight card on, when there's a Bellator fight card on, 5 or 6 people are eating, real eating. Like all these fighters eating, but these motherfuckers are eating. So that that's. I mean, I don't want to get into that too much, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the reality of it, and you know, I've always said I think fighters there's room to pay them more, but at the same time, it's just like such a wild gap between people that championship for that, and then people are realistic about it or think.
Well, until the structure changes, and I'll leave you on this. All right. So in boxing, there's no promoter that can't allow to have his own belt. That's what allows it, not the monopoly to have it, right? So if Golden Boy could have his own belt and Mayweather could have his own belt, why the fuck would Mayweather take one of his fighters to fight in Golden Boy? Like they're fighting their own little circuit. But the IBF, the WBO, WBC, they're the dictators of the title fight. So like now you got to hire this third party company that has nothing to do with the promotion side of it or the fighter side of it that dictates the fight. So until that happens with MMA, this can always happen. Like when you can own your own championship, like whoever's the most popular, that's whoever's gonna watch. So until that rule changes, and that's the Muhammad Ali Act.
That's what I was saying, bro. The PFC versus APFC.
Hey, that's 1,000,000%, bro. Let's make that happen. 1,000,000%.
Belts, dog. Let's go.
Hey, end of the year. I would love to do it. I'll be ready. I'm gonna do three boxing fights, get my name as big as I can in this boxing world, and man, a co-promotion. But that's how it's supposed to work. So 2 promoters come together, they build up a fight, but they hire a third party to govern the title shot. Now that makes sense. Now the next best guy in line will be the champion, not who has 5 fights left on their contract or who's more popular. Or like there's a lot of like little things that happen like that in an organization that can own their own belt. So. And then if that happens, then it changes everything because now there's no more MMA managers because now the promoter technically is a manager. Like PFL would be a promotion company, not a. They'd have a stable of fighters, but if they wanted to fight for the best in the world, the UFC versus PFL would co-promote the event, and then whoever the governing body will oversee the rules of the title.
Damn, bro, you hella smart,
Matt,
bro.
run
You
us through
put me
the,
on.
No, I'm. Yeah, this is good shit. A lot of fans wonder about this type of stuff.
Yeah, well,
yes,
I think once that happens, that's my bad. But that's what that lawsuit's about. And Kung Lee's like one of the main faces of that. And I just read on it. You know, I love the UFC for what they've done for me. But I'm reading his opinion on it, and he's like, he has kids coming up, and he's like, yo, I don't want my kids fighting in this format because it can be it's a way to be corrupt. You know, like corruption can happen in that format. There has to be a third outside party overseeing who's the best in the world, and promoters have to work together. And now fighters will get paid way more because now the promotions. Will be the promoter of the fighter, not the owner of the fighter, if you will.
Fair enough, yeah. Well, so while I pull up, we'll dip into the UFC 294 card and make some predictions on that. While I'm pulling that up, dude, there's probably a lot of people know about the Muhammad Ali Act thing happening right now, but there's not a lot that really fully understand it. You seem like somebody that you fully understand what's kind of going on and what the implications of it failing or succeeding would bring. Why don't you kind of give us a summary of that for anyone listening? Any casuals fucking listening? You guys don't pay attention to sport.
Well, I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen with it. I can't say if it does happen. Well, the only way to make it fair, let's just say to make it like boxing. Like the Muhammad Ali Act came about, and it says boxer. It doesn't say combat sports athlete, so that's what doesn't protect us. So it says boxer. So they're not allowed to have their own promotional champ. So like that's what's going on in MMA. Every promotion can have its own champion. It's like if you're in the NFL and they're like, all right, I own the NFL, but like Green Bay Packers aren't popular enough, so I'm gonna trade their quarterback to New York because New York makes more money. Like people will be pissed. Like the whole fucking NFL, like what the hell? Like, this is crazy. So like that happens all the time in MMA and different, and like whoever's the most popular. Like we need even like these up and coming organizations. They need views. How do you get views? Make two popular guys fight, and if no one's governing that besides the place that's holding the fights, like that's who benefits. So like these two popular guys are fighting, but all the money goes to the top. And in boxing, it's not like that. You have two promoters that co-promoting the event. They have two athletes, and then they hire the WBC, the WBO. They hire a third party that allows them to compete for that title. And they can both parties, like the promoters. Let's just say simple, Golden Boy, TMT. They come together. They dictate the rules. What size gloves we're going to wear, how many rounds, like all the rules, and then they go to the governing body and they oversee that. So I think for MMA to get to there, everything will have to change. So it'll wipe out managers, because no need for a manager because your promoter's your manager. It'll wipe out, I mean, you can have deals outside of it, but like as far as negotiating your fight contract, that won't happen no more. It's like boxers don't have managers. They don't have agents like that. They have a promoter. And I think if that happens with MMA, it shakes up everything, because now every organization will not be allowed to have their own belt, and now we'll have to see cross promotion people fighting. Like if PFL owns Francis and UFC owns John Jones, they would co-promote this event to see what the best man in the world is, dictated by somebody else. And if that happens, it changes up the whole game, man. Like everything changes.
I mean, they're doing that with the Tyson Fury fight, right? PFL and then the WBO, WBC, or it's
boxing,
just boxing. But PFL definitely has something to do with it.
No, but I'm saying it's boxing format, so PFL is Francis's promoter. So PFL. So
there's no third.
I mean, I'm not sure. I think he might have got permission to box, so he might be his own promoter in this one. I don't know the rules. I mean,
right,
I can't
the PFL may have given him freelance
permission to box, so now he's his own promoter. That's why his money goes way up, because he's getting paid as a promoter.
So there's no third party in this setup, maybe.
No, yeah, it's just Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou dictate the deal. They get paid. They don't even have to hire WBC. There's no belt for it. So usually, if you fight for a title, it's like $100,000, bro. Like if you're a 4-time champ, $100,000 for WBC, $100,000 for WBO, $100,000 for IBF. You have to pay that out of your purse, but all the money comes to you.
Yeah.
There you go. It's complex, man. I mean, it's
complex, man.
Yeah, we got to put these clips on pay-per-view because the game is to be sold, not told. And Anthony's giving us free game, boy.
Dropping knowledge. I love it.
So, man, we killing on this guy's time, man. This guy worth a lot of money, bro. Let's make a couple picks and then we got to release him.
I got one more meeting in 30 minutes.
Okay, we're gonna run. Let's run through 294. Okay, so we obviously have Abu Dhabi coming up. We got Saeed Nurmagomedov. We're starting from the bottom. If that's cool with you, Ice Bags. He likes to start from the fucking top of fight cards. You don't do that, Pettis. Tell him if you don't mind. You don't fucking do that.
Wait, if you're just explaining it, or if I'm picking bets, yeah, I usually start at the top. If I'm trying to bet on the card, I see what
you start from the top.
Top from the bottom.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
If I'm betting on them, if I'm picking bets, because you got to see who the favorites are. Usually the favorites are at the main card. You're the favorite underdog, like that's where the
fair. Okay,
now
Ice Bags. I'm wrong for once.
John Jones said don't fuck with Bagz, and Pettis said fucking Bagz is right.
Well,
so
John Jones
at this
said I was
point,
right,
I don't
but
know what
not
leg you have to stand on, brother.
Okay, fair enough. Whatever. All right.
You do it however you want to, man.
You don't even know who these motherfuckers are, Ice Bags. Your picks are going to be fucking terrible. Saeed Nurmagomedov, not related to Khabib. One of there's 4 Nurmagomedovs. He's the only one that's not. Versus Gafur. Oh, I can't do this. He's Tajikistani. Not a ton known about him, but Muin Gafurov. Who do you guys got? Let's start with, we'll go Pettis, Perry, Ice Bags.
Anybody with the last name Nurmagomedov, you cannot against him. If he don't have a mustache and he has a beard, he got my vote.
There you go. Okay, so one for Saeed.
Man,
what about
USA,
you?
We got the mustache with the shit too, bro. Mustache and the beard.
I think Saeed lost his last fight, but yeah, who do you got? Saeed or Gafurov?
Me? I said, Nurmagomedov.
No, you're going. Oh yeah, same. Okay. What about you, Bags?
Nurmagomedov for sure.
Nailed it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got to go. Saeed he's really good.
I trained with him actually in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He was
That's where I'm from, baby.
Okay, so he was at Jackson Wing forever, bro. I trained with him, man, probably like 8 years ago, and he was a monster. And he finally got into the UFC. So yeah, Saeed's a beast, bro. We trained with Sergio. He Sergio's weight. So like I watched him in Sergio's spar like 8-9 years ago, and I already knew that dude. I was like, yeah, you'll be in the UFC.
Dude, I'm so proud of Sergio, what he's been doing lately, man. Okay, you know what? You and your brother did something fucked up. Okay, you did that to Wonder Boy. Again, props. Favorite KO by you. Kyoji, bro? What the fuck? Dude, I mean, I'm fans of all you guys, but damn, you did. Bro, Kyoji. Holy shit. Sergio, though. Let's go, America.
Sergio in Bellator, man. Sergio's first fight in Bellator. You saw his, it was like a knockout and a submission.
Oh, yeah.
He came in Bellator with guns blazing, bro. And I was like, yo, stay on the path, man.
Money, for real.
The balance will be in your checking account if you stay right where you're at.
Dude, he's killing it over there. Yeah, give him a high five next time you see him.
Sorry, Mike. Hey, Mike's falling asleep over here. Shouldn't have been at the club till
we're already one through.
We're
going through. We're getting to some important shit. Okay, Nasruddin Imavov versus Ikram. These ones fuck me up. Alice Kirov. Ikram. Most people just call him Ikram.
I gotta look at this card so I can see.
Yeah. The next fight you guys will know.
Pettis wouldn't bet on shit he didn't fucking do research on first.
Yeah, betting professional over here. That one, honestly, we'll skip that one. Think about it. Let's go to this one. Ankalaev versus Walker. We all know who those guys are.
Ooh, yeah. Who's going first?
No, this is the one before co-main.
Okay.
This is co-main, right?
No, co-main's Paulo Costa Hamzat. So Ankalaev, obviously the one who just what's that?
No, I said, oh yeah, the co-main's fire, bro. That co-main's.
Oh, dude, that's a banger. Yeah, this one's a banger too. I mean, because Ankalaev being one of the more well-rounded fighters, still violent.
I lost a lot of money on him actually. I betted Denson last time and he got me.
The Jan fight, or was it the leg kick, right?
I don't even remember. There's fights every weekend now, bro. Like
I know it all compiles.
He ripped the ticket up. When you rip the ticket up, you know you lost.
Oh, yeah. I bet on my phone. I got William Hill out here, so I just William Hill. That's easy.
Oh, fair. So who you got? Ankalaev or Walker?
Ankalaev.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say Walker is a fun underdog. They're both powerful. Walker's been looking great. He won his last one, which was supposed to be a tough guy that he shouldn't have beaten, especially after getting dropped the way he did by Jamal. And Bobby Green was a big underdog in the last main event. And I was sitting there about to bet on his ass, and I didn't do it. And I was like, oh, my God. So I'm going with Walker, I think, maybe.
Fair enough. What about you, Bagz? Ankalaev? Yeah.
Probably should bet with Pettis. Probably should bet with that one.
Well, this is one of those classic fights of like some fancy come out of nowhere fucking flying knee, spinning back fist bullshit. He's really sharpened up his game. I think if you've been watching, he definitely has gotten better. I think he's still at SBG. But Ankalaev is like one of the most well-rounded fighters on the roster and capable of hurting and fucking you up anywhere. Johnny Walker's been chinny before. I think this is there's no path to victory for Johnny Walker besides that he's Johnny Walker. That's pretty much it.
He catches him with something. I guess try to catch him with something. He's just out of his too much for him everywhere.
Yep, and Ankalaev's just not going to put himself in a position to do that. So Ankalaev, I'd say that's as much as a lock as you get on a card. But we'll see. I like both of them. All right, so then next we got, obviously, Paulo Costa and Hamzat Chimaev. Chimaev at 185 now, pretty much locked in. He's not going to be going down to 170 again. Who we got?
I'd like to see the weigh-ins before I place a bet on that one, but I did see Costa just had surgery, a staph infection on his elbow. And I had that shit before, bro. Like that takes you out. You got to go in the hospital for a couple days, IV, get it cleaned out and shit. So you really can't train like that. So without seeing the weigh-ins, I'm going to say Khamzat.
Okay. What about you, Bagz? Or Perry?
Well, we made picks on this, and I did say that Hamzat has been phenomenal, and he definitely would come into the fight with the game plan to do what he wants to do, and get his ground game going, get his hands on Paulo. I picked Hamzat.
Okay.
I really liked Costa in the upset. The surgery on the elbow concerns the shit out of me. 3 weeks out, like, it's a big deal. I'm gonna stick with my original pick of Costa. I mean, he's acting like it ain't hurting him. He didn't necessarily, I don't think, need to post all the pictures of that. I'll stick with
Costa's
Costa.
the one who had the elbow surgery?
Yeah, he had a
Yeah,
staph
staph
infection.
infection.
How long did it fuck up your arm, Pettis, when you went through that?
Bro, I was in the hospital for like 3 days because it was MRSA. It was like a little ass black dot on my elbow, just like his. And then it turned into MRSA. It just went on my arm. Like that shit started turning red everywhere.
Oh, God.
And then afterwards, they got to put like this gauze in the actual hole. So they scrape the actual the core of that shit out. And they put this like big ass gauze, stuff it in there. Then he's got to keep it wrapped for a while. So you can't sweat. You can't grapple. You can punch with your other hand and stuff. But it limits you a lot from what you can do.
For how long?
A week or two. I mean, until that hole closes up. The hole has to close up. So you shouldn't be sweating. You shouldn't be getting sweat in that shit. Because if you get reinfection, man, it's bad.
So we should all bet Paulo probably missing weight or something. Like,
That's
so
why-
if
I want to see
he,
the weigh-ins. I want to see the weigh-ins first. That's why I said that. I want to see.
yeah, well, and then Paulo's already perfected the whole fucking showing up and saying, nah, fuck middleweight though. Let's do 205 the day before. He did that twice in a row, but. This one, if it looks like Gilbert, Hamzat had a problem in his last fight. He got in a dog fight, and one of my Swiss friends, she told me that the homie. What?
It wasn't his last
That I don't have
fight. His last fight was Holland, and he choked him out at 178.
He's talking about Burns, right?
I know.
Yeah,
but
wait, he
that
fought. It
wasn't
was Burns
That
last.
wasn't his last fight. No, it wasn't.
No.
Did I forget entirely? I thought it's been a year since.
He fought Burns, and then he fought Holland.
I thought he smoked Holland right before that. Oh yeah, he did, didn't he? Okay, dude. Well, there you go. It doesn't really change. If it looks anything like Gilbert Burns likes to swing a little bit like Paulo Costa, but he's got way better ground game. I was surprised they didn't really test each other that much on the ground. Paulo's not going to be doing that. I think Hamzat will have a massive advantage on the ground. I don't know, though, but he got in trouble in that Gilbert fight because he went into a slugfest with him, and his coach was yelling at him in or Swedish, and my friend told me he was begging him to stop being an idiot and stop trading with him. So he's prone to getting into like some fights where he just wants to prove it to himself. He doesn't give a fuck. If he gets in that with Paulo, I don't know, but I'll take Hamzat.
Yeah, I said that dehydrated brain against Gilbert Burns had a lot to do with that.
You think so?
Yeah, when you dehydrate yourself to cut that weight, bro, you feel it. Like your brain's getting dehydrated. That your brain needs that hydration to fucking absorb whatever happens, and I think that's what happened to him. The weight cut. That's why he went up.
That was such a banger. I completely forgot about the Holland fight. I remember they fought, but I thought that was before. Anyway, okay. Main event. Oliveira, Islam Makhachev. We've seen this one. We don't have to.
Yeah.
I have to preface this one.
I would like to see Oliveira win, but I gotta go with Islam. He's well rounded. He knows, like, them guys fight not to lose, bro. They don't. They stick to their game plan, and they're true to their game, and that's why they're where they're at.
Agreed. What about you, Platinum?
Man, I feel the same, man. I like Oliveira. I would like to see him be the dog that he is in the fight. He definitely wants to come back and redeem himself and give us more of a fight against Islam, especially since Alex Volkanovski kind of broke Islam down a little bit. And, so I see Charles being a fun underdog bet that you could lose some money on. So I would say Islam's going to fight to not lose, like he's saying. Very smart.
There you go. What about you, Bagz?
I'm going Oliveira. I think he picks up enough off the Volk fight.
Cool. Okay, so my thing is, I'm with you, Pettis and Perry. Like, bro, Islam has every tool to win. Charles has every tool to pull off, hurt anybody. He's one of the most violent fighters we've ever seen before. But with that said, a dominant wrestling over BJJ, we've seen it so many times. And especially like with someone on the level of Islam, even with Charles being as high up as he is on BJJ, he's, he's got the most submissions ever. He's got to be top 3 best BJJ practitioners, right? I mean, I put Damian Maia over him, but useful MMA,
Yeah.
he's top 3 by probably 2. But okay, I think my only prediction is he looks better this fight. That's it. I think he looks better. I think Islam has it. No, it's the Ankalaev Johnny Walker fight again. That's what it is. Charles could pull it off, but no, I got to go with Islam. There you go.
Agreed.
Anthony.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Okay, so Abe,
On the pontoon.
fighter pay.
Yes.
At the lake.
I get shit for my take on this all the time. People think that I
What's your
am
take?
supposed to be upset about fighters' pay. Right?
Hard.
My take is straight up this.
Okay.
I think that there's room for the UFC to fucking provide more pay for fighters. Now, at the same time, why the fuck, if they won't get together and do something about it, am I supposed to spend a goddamn moment of my day mad about it on the internet and yelling at other people that fucking disagree with me? I don't understand. I think fighters should get paid more. They won't do it. And then, like, it goes back to the good manager, bad manager thing. You see a lot of people like you work for. And this is why I don't bitch about this stuff, man. I notice. But you don't see your guys bitching. Like, so
Because there's a way that it goes.
I'll say this. I always will say the fighters should get paid more. I'll always say that because what they do, it's dude, you're in a fight. You're in a fight in front of millions of people or thousands of people, wherever you are. You're in a fight. So I will always say they should get paid more. But then I also understand the business side of it, and that's the part that a lot of guys don't understand. You know, if the UFC didn't have the structure that they had, we wouldn't be so salivating for the fights that we got. I would also, you know, be. I'm hesitant to say that the UFC can't pay the fighters more. I am, because they can. The truth is they can. If you look at the numbers of what they make compared to what the fighters get, yes. However, if you're a guy who's just coming up and you start up, put it like this, there's 1 million people out there that right now that will take a fight in the UFC for free. You got to keep that in mind. So there is like no motivation argument for the UFC to pay anybody more. You understand? There's 1 million people out there that will fight for the UFC for free. So the guys that are complaining about their pay, my direct response to them is get better management that believe in you, that can help elevate your star power. Because the one thing that the UFC will do is pay the people that got star powers. It is the one thing that Mike has right now, and why he gets paid so well is because he has star power. If you cannot get people to tune in to your fights, or you can't get people to sit down, to buy a ticket, you have no right to complain. And my one argument with the fighters has always been, everybody believes they have a brand. All fighters think they have a brand, and it's only true to an extent. It's not true to where you're comparing yourself to your brand to LeBron or to Tiger Woods or to Michael Jordan. Those are brands. The guy who's a mid-level fighter in the UFC that's fighting fight nights, your brand is really limited to your friends and family. It's not to anything outside of that. It's cumulative
with the other people on the prelims, man. Like you're not carrying that shit.
You take your opportunities in those times to really perform, really outshine. And you know, I tell a lot of guys, you're better off being on a fight night than you're on a pay-per-view if you're a lower level guy. Because if you go look at the pay-per-views, the guys at the top, that main card and the first fight right before the main card, those are the best fights that are set up on the card. Those guys, if they get a finish, are almost guaranteed a bonus. Everybody else under that, which there's phenomenal fights on the undercards too. I'm not discounting them, but the chances of you getting a bonus on those undercards those type of cards are very, very slim, because the guys at the top, if they get a finish or a wild fight, they're going to get the bonuses. If you're on a fight night where the production, where the viewership is a lot less, and you're talking, you know, you could be one of those guys on the main card, which doesn't matter on those cards. From the beginning all the way to the end, it's all the same. Unless you're the main event, there is no difference. You know, I always use the Dana White Contender Series as the bar for that. The main event, everyone knows, but all the fights on that card are great, right? Like you still enjoy watching all the Dana White Contender fights. There's a reason for that. I believe bare knuckle boxing is the same way. Yes, Mike is going to headline a card. Yes, he's going to be in there against another, you know, big name that, oh my God, we can't wait to watch that fight. But if you tune into those undercards, you're going to go, oh my God, that was phenomenal. That was a great, great fight. That's the idea. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of where I tell guys on the big cards, those type of fights, if you're on them, just don't look for the chances of you getting a bonus or slim to none. Get the win. Win. Think about the win first before you think about anything else. If you're on a fight night card, go out there and do that crazy move that you've been able to hit in the gym against everybody, but you just don't do when you get, into the cage in the UFC. Do it that night, because that knockout will guarantee you a bonus more than likely for the guys. So that's kind of my take on that.
That's fire, man. I mean, the insight and look the inner deep lookings of like how it's ran, and like the what do they call it when they're making pictures? They got the film, what do they call that shit when they put the shit in the liquid?
The dark room there. Yeah, I know.
Well, you know what I'm talking about.
Negatives.
Yeah. And then
listen, that is my opinion based on what I've seen. So remember, I'm just saying, this is just my opinion on what I've seen. This is not fact. Don't take my word as fact of what what the matchmakers do or what Dana does. Please don't do that. That's not what I do. And then I'll say this: Bellator's done give PFL credit. They're the ones that are basically saying, I do not care about anything. We just want to have competition, right? Like, we just want to see if you're ranked 1, you're going to fight 8, 2 is going to fight 7, 3 is going to fight 6.
When are we going to announce PFC?
Soon, man. Soon, my guy.
PFC, baby.
Soon. Yeah, he's talking about,
The Platinum
AFC,
Fighting Championship.
KPC, whatever. It don't fucking matter.
Platinum Fighting Championship.
Soon, my guy. Soon.
Like it. Can't wait. I can't wait.
Soon. It's coming. Not now, though, man. Not now. Let's get all of our ducks in a row, and then we'll.
I had to get that out because I thought it before, and then I forgot to ask, and I was like, "Oh, I can't forget again. We gotta get it out."
Not yet.
They're ready for it. They're ready to see the PFC.
I'll say this. If we can get this thing done sometime around the Eddie fight, we're in a good place. Like, in other words, remember, that's going to be
let me give you this image real quick, right? Shoot. You got this badass over here, and then you got this big tough motherfucker over here, and then you got me in the middle of them. Like, oh no, hold on, man, don't do it.
So I would tell you this, my visual of you is not that. It's not that. It's not you saying, oh, no, don't do it. It's me, you getting in there and being like, don't you motherfuckers touch each other. Like, you be a damn dog in there just the same way. And the reason why I say that, listen.
I'll be laughing the whole time like, oh!
I know. But that I think that takes away from you, though. It takes away from you, like your persona. I actually don't see you as being like the laughing guy in between two fighters. And I know that you want to do that. But my point to you is that when they get up there's a respect. That's a different place. I want you guys to be vicious. I want you guys to be animals, but don't you dare touch each other. Don't you dare. Save it for tomorrow night. Save it for the next night.
I want motherfuckers fighting for me that don't give a fuck what I have to say, and they just gonna fucking eat. They gonna eat. And then I could just be in the middle of the chaos. And I'm just smiling.
Don't be in the middle.
I'm just smiling in the horror.
Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. Trust me.
But I like to fight. Like, I'll be in the fight, getting punched in my face.
Watch, I'll tell you where I'm coming from. This is what I've seen. If you go look at Georgie when he sits in the middle of those guys and he's laughing and he's just like, it's almost, we get it. You're happy. We get it. You're putting on a fight that means something. Ooh. I understand, but it doesn't look good for the person, the brand. That's
play the part.
Have a brand.
I can play the part. I mean, I know you where's Conor McGregor's fighting league? Because I know he'd be in between them like, I don't fuck around.
Think about it. You think, right? Yeah. You think he would be laughing? He wouldn't be laughing. Nah. Dude, this is not a. You laugh after the fight, not before the fight.
Mac and his girl right now.
Yeah.
But the only time that's what we want. We want type of fighters that make it real, where it's like, I can't be smiling in between them because they're so vicious. I have to be focused.
That's there you go.
Real shit.
And that when people see that, they're gonna look at it and be like, "Oh shit, this is real." Whenever I see like Dana or I see Mick or I see even Scott Coker, when I see Ray Sefo Ray Sefo smiles a lot. I'm not big on it, but when he doesn't smile, it actually like there's a certain presence about that weigh-in where you're like, oh shit, this stuff is serious. If you're laughing, it takes away from that, and it also makes you look like a damn kid in there. You're not a kid, homie. You're a fighter just the same way, and you got to keep that persona. The one thing the WWE taught me was you never break character. Never break character.
Word.
Can I say something that is not advice? It's just a observation and something I've talked about with some other people on Twitter. One thing I think is fucking hilarious about Mike being introduced to this whole group is that's an entire market's going to find out what fuck around and find out looks like for real. And that's just who you are, Mike. So, like, without this conversation we're hearing right here, I kept saying, like, it's just, dude, just insert Mike into the mix exactly as he is. All you always have to talk about is, like, I just want to show up and fight. I just want to fucking just do that.
I mean, you're going to
find out what that's like.
I try to be normal, you know what I mean? I try to be like other people, but, like,
I don't think you have to try to be shit for this.
Like, for example, in the UK, when I was at the press conference for Logan and Dylan and KSI and Fury, I'm standing off to the side, and you know, they're like telling me, you know, I'm working for them, so they're like, you know, let's get you over here, and then we'll wait to call on you, and we'll let people know, and this and that, and it's like, yeah, respect both ways. We do the business, and it gets crammed up in there, and I happen to, when John Fury starts throwing tables, I kind of went in front of some cameras that I guess were live, right? And I'm trying to watch because I don't have a good seat. They ain't calling me up. So then I come back, and then I'm standing off to the side, and I'm squeezed in there because people are everywhere, big security guards and the people working the cameras, and then I'm standing by this camera. I ain't touched nothing. And this dude's like, says something to me like, oh, this guy who was working with the cameras and the camera crew, he's like, oh, these are very expensive cameras and this and that, da, 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 da. So if you come over here by my cameras again, we're going to have a problem or something. And I'm like, I was smiling like, and then I was like, you're serious? Whoa. I was like, you just shut the fuck up. How about that? How about you shut the fuck up, dude? Don't talk to me like that.
This is my point. You just were you, and you were like, oh shit, you flexing on me? Bro, that's all you need to do. Like,
crazy.
I'm feel free. Get off the phone and say, do not.
It's like I'm there right now. I still feel it. I'm extremely pissed off now.
Bro, it's gonna be hilarious as shit when those people find out like you can't just go up and like fucking TikTok prank people like Mike Perry.
I wish they would. No, I don't wish they would.
No, this has been great though, man. I mean, 15 minutes of Abe's time's got to be at least. Like,
I love it.
45,000.
I love it.
Legit,
I love
not
it.
Fucking kidding, man. Like, there's almost. I love talking to the fighters and everything, but I'd rather talk. I like learning this type of shit. It's the shit.
Damn. Think about that. Think about that. With Rockhold, would I fight him? Fucking 3 minutes.
He told me it fucking hurt when you hit him.
3 minutes.
I said, fuck.
I fought Rockhold, and I made a new
lot
house.
Of money. Yeah, a lot of money. But listen, you didn't fight Rockhold for your old money. You fought Rockhold for your new money. Remember that.
Yeah, I haven't even got much of that new money yet. I got a little bit of it, but there's some on the back end that, you know, we're going to get. We're on our way. I let them know in this episode. I said, look, I'm in. It's official, guys. Yeah. I'm in.
It's official.
And I told them, you know, I had also received, if Dennis wants to back out, he wants to say he's out, I'm in. I'm fighting next weekend. I'm there. And then I'm fighting again, BKFC,
December.
And I said also it's either the end of the year or some. I thought
like that. Right.
I said early next year. So
no. So you might be. I mean, listen. The plans for you are to keep you as active as possible. That's really the idea. You thrive in that activity. As long as obviously there's no serious injuries, which there really has never been, and Bagz keeps dipping and coming back with hair and no hair. It's really tripping me out, but
it makes it so much
much more sus, bro.
It's
Take it
okay.
off.
It's a trip. It's a trip.
It's all good, man.
He has to
yeah.
like
So
take off his shirt to do it or something. I don't like. What else? What is it, Bagz? Put it on. Anyway,
What?
keep going. Sorry. He's gonna pretend. Okay, keep going.
so yeah. So getting you as active as possible is absolutely the idea. We see the
active,
numbers.
hey, he's been active tonight, Abe. I saw the motherfucker eat a Jimmy John's sub in like 7 seconds. He ate a whole bag of fucking Doritos, like the big bag of Doritos in like 9 seconds. He's been active.
He's trying to make weight. He's trying to make weight for next week.
He's been active. He's been active.
That's all right. That's all right.
All right,
That's
can I
all
ask
right.
one more quick question? One,
Shoot.
like it just be a one-word answer. You don't have to explain shit. Who do you think is the worst managed fighter of all time? Biggest flop or biggest fail?
Why do you care to talk about the biggest loser?
No, not the loser.
It's
Whoever
right. He wants
like,
to.
with Cedric Doumbé happening right here, and people arguing whether or not UFC fumbled it. That's always come up. Like, was Fedor fumbled? That type of shit. You get my question. Who's the biggest fail? Managing fail.
Man, I would think. See, that's a hard one because
I know.
to be honest
Who's
with you, I
that,
think
who's
I
that
think
guy who kept tagging me on Instagram and you told me stop giving him attention?
no, that guy.
It was some fucking random dude. It was some completely random dude.
Let's not get into that one. I would think a guy like, just from, and this is without me thinking too much about it, Johnny Hendricks.
Bro, one of the weirdest
So-
dudes.
But he was a champion.
I know, but becoming a champion doesn't necessarily
And
mean
Wonder
that you
Boy
work
too.
properly. But again, I
Fighting
think
for
Wonder Boy.
$30,000 for the title. That's crazy.
So again, I would say Johnny Hendricks was Mr. All-American. You're talking about the big rig country. He had a whole thing behind him. It was massive. And from one day to the next, he fell off harder than, anybody else. And I just think that the climb was fun, but the fall really sucks, So I like to look at the guys that fell. And I think, that's where I would say the badly managed part goes into there more so than the guys, because this is a fight game. You're going to win, you're going to lose. So if you're always winning, it's really easy, right? Like John Jones, the greatest managed fighter of all time, but he's also the greatest fighter of all time. How are you supposed to, what's the correlation between the two? I think the guys that have taken losses and then you've been able to bring them back up or, put them in the right positions to properly shine. Those are greatly managed guys. The guys that you lose and then just sort of disappear and you never hear from them again. Those are really so that's why I take Johnny as the guy that was, the worst managed, because he was sitting way up here. And then after one loss, it just seemed like it was over,
Jens
right? Like it was,
Pulver.
Remember when
Jens Pulver
they gave him Costa.
Yeah.
Paulo Costa and Johnny Hendricks. So he's moving up to 185. And he said, I've never even heard of this guy. I don't know. Paulo Costa beat the shit out of him. So just
remember, the UFC is not meant to make champions. They're meant to make contenders. They're supposed to bring in contenders. They're not supposed to bring in champions. So the matchmaker's job is not to create a champion. It's to create contenders. A lot of people don't understand that. They're always like, oh, the champion got this guy. Champion. Dude, the best thing for the sport is that they're able to bring in an actual contender that can compete. It's the best thing we've had in boxing. If you want to go old school, and you see it, the best fights were when you had a contender, not when, it was a guy that you knew he was going to kill the other guy.
Amanda Nunes.
Amanda is probably the best female fighter of all time. And that's,
But that's why people didn't get too pumped about her fights. Half the time you're like, oh, she's going to smoke her.
Everybody, the next everybody is the damn next best of all time.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They always do that.
But it's true though. Because everyone's so involved in the storylines of the people that are coming up or the ones that come out of nowhere. We didn't see that coming. And then they're so perfect for such a short amount of time. And we're like, wow, they've become the best ever. Like Aljamain Sterling, we all saw his grappling and his cardio and like his being a champion. Even though he won it in a funky way, he went back and he won it in the right way. And then he defended it again, and he seemed to be this dominant champion that they were talking about. Oh, he beat Sean O'Malley. He's the best of all time. And then he loses and they're like, oh, he was still the best of all time. And now Sean O'Malley has on the path just because he's brought the most attention to that division's ever received. So,
all right. But John said it best on our show. He said, all these guys get hyped up. I'm sick of fighting guys that get hyped up, right? Like Gann, they hyped up. I choked him out in 40 seconds.
Yep.
Now they're talking about Aspinall. Now they're talking about this guy. He's like,
Sure,
I've been
yeah, all
around
these
the
guys,
game
yeah.
for so long that everybody is the next guy. He's like, but they ain't.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Man, that's the fucking truth of it.
You're not lying. He's not lying.
Like
That's all
honestly,
firsthand.
here's what I'll say. I like Sugar Sean. I think he's a fucking great personality. I think he's a sharp dude. I think he's got a huge future ahead of him, fighting and not fighting. I think he's got a huge future. I don't think he's a fucking like 3 or 4 time like belt defender.
He's not the best bantamweight right now. Like,
I don't.
Sorry about that.
No.
That's man. It's got the.
That's Abe's helicopter
I
landing.
wish, dude. I wish.
He's going to the nightclub.
I wish.
Hey, Abe's going to 11. His helicopter just landed. He's going to 11.
I'm not kidding. I find these chats more like this is beyond, bro. This would be Josh. This would be fucking big. People wonder. We never hear from this type of stuff.
Same old, same old.
No, fantastic.
Appreciate you,
Yeah,
fellas.
hopefully we could do it again. I mean, Abe, I could craft some questions where they're ready for you to go.
Sure.
And easy to answer
Yeah,
and stuff.
it'd be a
Dude,
pleasure.
Really, really. I appreciate it.
Maybe you just bring me on when nobody else shows up.
Yeah. That's what we just did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I get it.
Ready to go.
I get it.
All right. Charles Radtke.
oh,
There we are. What's up, boys?
what's up, man?
None just joined the beautiful weather in Inglewood, Florida.
Oh, nice.
Where's Inglewood?
It's right below Sarasota.
Oh, okay.
I do remember that I wanted to say congratulations on like the best post-fight speech ever.
Oh God.
Yeah. It's
Let's
hilarious.
great.
That's what we all want to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that
That
all
was
what we
awesome.
want to talk about?
I would have said it verbatim, but you know.
I
I
told
got
you
a
not
question
to.
about that specific thing though. So, dude, first thing that went through your mind when you dropped
Up
that,
there in
did
the
you go,
crowd,
"Oh
why don't you
fuck"?
come
I
down
wanna
here
know.
and do something about it, pussy ass bitch?
Oh,
Let's go,
shit.
man. Let's go.
Yeah,
That's-
man.
That's
I've
good,
always been the
man.
heel
That's
too. I feel like I'm the whole.
we've all wanted to say.
Yeah, man. I feel like every single
okay,
time I
go
come in
ahead,
back there,
go ahead.
Second.
no. Yeah, ask me the question that you were going to ask me because, like, I was about to say, like, when I came in there, they did nonstop booing me the whole time when I was walking up to the ceremonial weigh-ins. And so you know why I did what I did, right? Because I'm sitting there, and you know Israel Adesanya's head coach. When I got kneed in the nuts, when I got kneed in the nuts, I'm sitting there on the floor. After I got kneed in the nuts by his guy because he almost got knocked out, and he's sitting there, and he's calling me a fucking pussy, and I don't belong in the UFC, talking all this shit to me. So then when I got done and I beat his guy, that's when, you know, the whole crowd started booing and shit like that. And then that's when I just blew up because that's kind of my thing anyways. Like, if it's a post-fight speech, I might, you know, mush somebody after the fight or I might talk shit to somebody. It's all about promotion. But at that moment, I was just like, man, fuck Australia. You guys took 32% of my pay. I don't even want to fucking be here.
I'll just say this, man. I don't even know that Sean Strickland had anything to say after you and what's the other guy's name after y'all went off. I think Sean was just like, fuck, I can't even compete with this.
Manel Cape for sure stole my swag.
Thank God you work in an organization where Dana's like, I don't give a fuck, right? Like any other pro sport, and you would have got your ass ripped.
Well, that's what I want to know. Is there anything anything comes back where they're like, hey, like,
Yeah, what happened?
Do you get any backlash from the UFC? Yeah, what happens?
Yeah, so after the fight, that was when I was walking the back. I smacked somebody in the crowd, and so as I'm going to the back, I'm flicking everybody off, and they're just trying to get me out of there as soon as possible because I went crazy. So then when I'm going back out and I get all the way in the back, I'm talking shit to his corner because they had talked all that shit outside the cage, so I wanted a piece of them afterwards. And so they're trying to shove me, and now everybody in my corner is freaked out instead of my friend, except for my friend Levi. They're like, dude, do you realize what the fuck you just said on national TV? That's like ESPN is owned by Disney. So you just fucked up. Like, you're probably going to lose your job. And so I'm sitting in the back, and I'm like, you guys are just relax. It's not even that big of a deal. So I'm trying to sit down. My eyes swollen up at this point. It's kind of closing, so I'm focusing on that. And then one of my manager calls me up. He says, you need to talk to somebody right now because your job is on the line. I was like, shut the fuck up. It's not even that big of a deal. Like, honestly, there's so much shit that has happened beforehand. I'm sure this is like little, right? Like, it's not that big of a deal. I'm like, no, the way that you did it, right? Headlining the early prelims. They even told us before, too. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, Mike. They tell you in the back on the early prelims, you cannot cuss. You can't say anything or else you will get fined, right? And I just did the most absurd shit that you could have possibly have done, right? And especially in Australia, too, when that's really frowned upon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so at the back, they're like, you got to make a public apology. You got to do this. My wife is calling me up. She's so disappointed within me because we got a bunch of friends, you know, that are gay as well, too. But, like, it is what it is at this point. Like, they all understand what I meant. So
I know some gays who would say that, you know, the F word is a different kind of gay than them. And you know, they don't. Some people can be straight and be an F word, and others, you know. But
dude,
I'm still not saying it. So.
Isn't it so stupid that you even have to you have to monitor yourself when you just got done with the fist fight for 15 minutes, and then they're gonna blast you because of what you say afterwards? Like, you think I was really thinking of what I was gonna say?
Charles?
All right, let's break down this 294 card, boys.
Let's do it.
All right, first up, we got Johnny Walker against, look, this whole fucking card, I can't pronounce one name on it, but I'm going to shoot.
This one's easy. Magomed Ankalaev.
Oh, yeah.
Ankalaev.
Real easy.
Yeah, Ankalaev, bro, it's like the fucking dinosaur. Easy. Ankalaev.
All right, Ankalaev is minus 360. Johnny Walker's plus 280. Platinum Tyson, go ahead.
Walker.
Wow.
Wow.
Radtke.
Yeah, I'm going with the Ruski on this one.
Buffalo.
I'm going with the Ruski on this one.
Mac, give us something besides a name.
Ankalaev's the best, probably the most well-rounded fighter in the top of the division, probably, by far. He's got way more grappling. I wouldn't favor Jamal Hill over him.
Wow.
I wouldn't. No, that dude's a problem. Like, that dude, he's got weapons in every department, and the very strong. He can rely on anything. I think he's so well-rounded. He's a problem. Every time he fights one of my favorites, I'm worrying about it. So,
right.
Johnny Walker, he's touchable as fuck. Ankalaev can strike. He can take you down. I don't see a lot of paths to victory for Johnny Walker besides being prime Johnny Walker.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Ankalaev after I just heard Mac's breakdown. Mike, your pick sounds dumb as fuck at this point.
I'm gonna say,
all right, second one.
That's a fun pick for your ass, and he's probably the underdog.
It is fun.
And Walker has been known to beat guys that are supposed to be so fucking amazing. That's what happens at what, heavyweight or light heavyweight?
Light heavy.
Mm-hmm. That's how Walker, you know, he's been knocked out with some weird stuff, and he goes and knocks people out with weird stuff. So, with that much power, and he did good last time, I think. Had a tough fight. He beat a guy that's not supposed to lose.
Who was it, Mac?
I believe it was it Span in my triple. No, it was Smith.
Hang on.
He beat the shit out of Smith.
Hang on. Wasn't this the fight where the guy was going like,
yes,
you broke into my house or some shit?
But because someone broke into, I think what happened in that, Anthony Smith had a home invasion at one point, right? And I don't know how, like, the details of what specifically happened, but he, like, detained this dude in his house. I think he was using that just to pump him up during the fight because he was clearly behind. I think that's all that was.
He was telling Johnny Walker, like, you broke into my house, and Johnny's like, they're in between fucking punches, and Johnny's like, bro, what? I did not break into your house. Like, what the fuck is going on?
What do you guys think? I think he was trying to pump himself up. It makes sense to me. I mean, it doesn't look like it makes sense, but...
Yeah, honestly, I didn't
Mike,
even...
you ever been punched in the head so hard you thought somebody broke into your house?
Someone did break into his house, though.
CTE is a
maybe
motherfucker.
He was just trying to get his head in the mindset.
I'm actually questioning whether I should even continue hosting this podcast going down the road, because eventually I'm going to piss off somebody and I'm going to run into them in fucking Vegas at like a nightclub or something. They're going to be like, "Oh, you said this shit," and just whop me in the fucking head.
No, it's viral content, baby.
No, you just
be
got to
He get punched in the head in the Vegas nightclub.
You just got to take me
You
with
got me,
you.
Mike?
Yeah.
Hey, Mike looked at me the other day. We're doing something random, and Mike looks at me and goes, "Yo, if there's anybody you want me to beat up, I got you." And I just look at him. I'm like, "All right, cool, thanks, man."
That's a real boy for
like
you, man.
if
He's
Mike
got
told
your
me
back. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's my dog.
Yeah, but if someone just came up and said that to me, even Mike, I'd be like, dude, that's fucking fantastic. Thank you so much. But like, do you have someone in mind? Like,
I think we were like at the gym or something, or I don't know where it was.
is there someone here right now?
He's at the gym and he goes, takes
Right,
out that
yeah.
brown
No,
belt.
I looked around. Believe me, I looked around for like 30 seconds.
Let
I
me
looked
know.
around for like 30 seconds, right? Because I'm like, well, fuck, there's probably somebody in here that I don't fucking like, and I could have Mike Perry beat him up right now. But I didn't, because I'm a fucking gentleman.
Well, I mean, he did beat up
All right,
that
next
brown
fight.
belt.
Ice bags.
Go ahead.
I have a question for you. If you've ever left somebody stranded on an island when you take them out on your boat.
Who you talking
Left
to
him
me?
stranded on an island?
When you take them out on
Nah.
your boat. No, I'm talking to ice bags there.
Yeah.
Nah, never. Did I leave you stranded on an island?
No, I'm saying, but like, if you didn't like somebody, you could take them out
Yeah.
there and be like, yo, we're having so much fun, and then leave them on the island.
Yeah.
Make them swim back.
just
Mike
tie-
has
we can
someone
just
in
tie a
mind.
cement
Mike
block to
definitely
their
has
foot.
someone in mind.
No. That's murder, man.
Nah.
Oh my
Well,
God.
then why the fuck we talking about it
Allegedly.
on fucking television?
Keep it on the DL.
Hypothetical, man.
No, it's like
Alright,
a
here we
prank.
go.
Like these YouTubers do. You know, you ain't seen the Instagram videos. They're like, "Oh, but
Yeah.
it's just a prank," and they're like, "Oh, but the prank." Well, you know, it's just a rough prank, but it's a prank. They'll make
What's
it.
About dude
Could
that
you
got shot
imagine-
the other day
Could
doing
you
that.
imagine if
Ha-ha.
somebody did that shit to you?
Yeah,
I'd
I'd
be
fucking
so-
go for a swim, dude. I'll come back with a shark and cook that bitch.
Shark fin soup.
Fuck yeah.
All right, here we go. Platinum Perry. We got Mulan Gafarov against Saeed Nurmagomedov. Nurmagomedov is minus 185.
I guess I'll go with the Nurmagomedov. That's always a safe bet.
Chuck Buffalo.
Yeah. They all need to be said on that one.
Yeah. Are we going back on the card? Is that what we're doing?
Dude, that's what,
Yeah.
dude. Icebags has a fucking problem with this, man. I get
Yeah,
mad
that
about
was
all
so
the fucking
weird.
Main
I'm like,
event
I
was
was
first.
Bro, I'm laughing because I'm
Dude,
thinking
in
in my
front
head,
of
I'm
John
like, I'm
Jones, he
getting,
goes, we'll just start from the top.
yeah, I'm getting prepared to do Holocaust, like, right? But I've seen
Me
these guys.
too. I
Yeah.
know.
Why?
So I've seen these guys fight.
That's the next one on the
Bags,
fucking
that's just
card.
the fucking culture, bro. That's what we do.
Yeah, you start from the bottom up,
confused.
not the top down. You got to save.
Dude, on my phone, I've got that as the next fight.
That's
What's-
like fucking and saying, then now I'll finger you. Like,
I was on my phone. I had to go
You
down
know.
one. All right, so I'm gonna go with.
See, mine's different. But you know what John Jones said? Don't
What?
fucking talk shit to Icebags. So,
But he also said, no, you don't do that, though. But then also don't talk shit to Icebags. It was both. It was both. He agreed with me.
I
You
would
don't
just
fucking
listen to
just
John
skip all
Jones
over
if I
the
was
fucking
y'all.
card, bro.
If I was y'all, I would listen to fucking John Jones and not talk shit to Icebags.
Yeah, I've watched both these guys fight. Both
Yeah, that's simple.
are good strikers. Except the this guy, Azaleov, the 14-1 guy, he lost against Chimaev. But if you watch that fight against Chimaev, he was actually getting the better of Chimaev until Chimaev eventually knocked him out with that uppercut, which was a highlight. And I saw his most recent fight too. He has good striking.
That KO was nasty.
Yeah, and he has good striking. He has a good ground game. The opposite guy, Mike, you remember the guy that cornered you when you went to MMA Masters, that crazy cat? You remember when you were at MMA Masters and you had that kid corner you?
Oh, my boy Majduddin.
He beat that cat. He beat Amayov. He beat him whenever they were both lightweights, right? So if I'm going to decide on that, they both have good striking, except one of the guys, Avravov, has better ground game. So that's who I'm going to go with because I just feel like he has more to offer in this.
Yeah, man. Majduddin Ayati is a beast, man. He's got a good few tricks up his sleeve, and sometimes even good ones take L's, you know. Sometimes it's that close line where you're either about to knock them out or they get you with something that you didn't see coming. You know, it's happened before, but we don't talk about those times. We keep it positive. So I picked the Nurmagomedov because why not?
All right, guys, that was a pretty wild episode of the 9th installment of OverDogs Podcast. This is a fantastic episode. We had some great guests today. Don't forget to follow all of us on our social media platforms, all that stuff. You know, dude, don't make Mike Perry come to your house and beat your ass to hit that subscribe button. And we'll catch you next time.
This episode of the OverDogs Podcast was brought to you by our friends at Steak.